This
And
is
on
so
that
bad.
note, Chris, cue the music. Let's start the episode. Fantastic. Yes, and as I say this, Chris is of course doing Dil Ke Taj Mahal mein as a step in front of us.
Yes.
So yes, uh, that's it. Okay, this is the break, I suppose, in some
Yes.
ways. We have taken out.
I'm going to drink a gallon of water because I literally
Yes.
exorcised my anger.
Yes, all the anger has been flushed down the toilet as of now. Later, some films might be mentioned which might incite some of us also. So, best of luck for that. To the listeners, hame to, we'll to just speak our anger out. But, anyways, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the happiest episode because we have just exercised all the demons, like all the anger we had against the worst. No, what was it? What was the category called? WTF,
The derogatory.
derogatory. And if you listen to that section of the podcast episode, then welcome back because now we're going to be nice about stuff, I think,
Hmm.
mostly, at least. But anyways, guys, for anyone who hasn't listened to that part of the episode, welcome. We have a packed house today, as usual for these episodes. Chris, Amartya, Aryan, and Adityan, all of them are here. They are all fresh from their, anger, like releasing all the demons that they had, stored up in them about some movies. But no, we are back to our best of. We are 2 months late in talking about our best of so far lists because just I don't have an explanation. But yeah, this is best of 2025 so far. We have, our usual format shall be followed, which is best film, director, supporting actor, um, editing, cinematography. What else is there? Anyways, you will get to
Screenplay,
you
music,
you,
and scene.
you will get to know. And Aryan, you're muted. But because Aryan's, I saw him speak something, and I was like, it's muted, so I can't hear it. But anyways, no, you'll get an idea of whatever we're talking about. Chris is editing this episode, so I'm gonna be very unruly this episode because I don't have the pressure of editing this. But no, so we are gonna do our usual shtick for whoever's unaware. We've done this format now for at least a year and year and a half, I think, where we've done the categories as opposed to just a list of movies. Just we like to get more
Hmm.
specific with some of the things we want to talk about, and also mention specific people. I think because a lot of times when we're talking about films, we do only mention the director and the writer or whatever, like the big names, but some of the categories allow us to mention other people. Anyways, this isn't a concern for Chris at all. I think he's like, you'll get to know. Anyways, but yeah, we will begin with, like, what the Oscars like to demean as the technical awards, and then we will move on to your quote unquote more significant categories. But yes, we shall begin, guys, with best editing, I think. Or no. No, let's go with best editing. Let's fly with best editing, guys. We have five selections. Some wonderful selections we have. Chris, do you want to begin with your selection?
Sure. I
What is
mean,
your selection, Chris?
my my selection, as I have mentioned earlier, if you listen to the earlier segment, I've got two selections for most categories here, where the first one, as is always on the higher, is Rameshwar as Bhagat for Badass Ravi Kumar. Because
दिल
if
के
you
ताज महल में दिल के ताज महल में
Please explain your choice,
so
Chris.
okay, so the construction of this movie is not just the screen power,
A
the
fluke. It's not
presence.
just a fluke.
It's not just a fluke. It's not, no, it's not just this genius of its lead actor and writer, the one and only Himesh
auteur.
Reshammiya, the auteur that is Mr. Himesh Reshammiya, but it's also made by a crew of wonderful people who have put together this gorgeous, incredibly well put together movie
I
that is
think put
Badass Ravi
together
Kumar.
is the best word to be used,
I don't
because
think it
it
is put
is a
together as
bunch
much as
of
it is
clips put
slapped
together.
together and sticky glue is put on top of
I
it.
mean, if you have to edit these wonderful moments where, Himesh is giving dialogue and it's echoing in the theater to the point where your chair is shaking and you're having a full 4DX
4DX.
experience watching
Yeah.
watching this movie, it takes
Oh my God.
another immaculate
Wow.
level of genius, and for that I need to acknowledge this wonderful person. So that is my first pick. Uh,
We all
Alternatively,
begrudgingly are nodding our heads in approval, just so that Chris can move on and tell us
Yes.
our second pick. Yeah.
so the second pick is I'll just be right back.
Oh, wow.
The doorbell.
Intermission
The
for
doorbell
Chris.
saved us and traumatized us
भाई
both.
घंटी बजी है I'll be right back, one
Yeah,
second.
I know. It's fine.
The doorbell saved us
This
and
didn't,
traumatized
no,
us
it didn't ring
simultaneously.
before he had to talk about Ravi Kumar.
Yes,
Anyways,
because
after
because
him.
badass Ravi Kumar is his love
Maybe,
at
maybe,
this
maybe
point.
he's arrived. Who knows? Anyways, I'll let Chris's second choice out later. But yeah, Amartya, you go with your choice first in editing.
I
And I'm
think
no,
my edit. I think my
yeah,
editing choice is Joe Murphy.
yes,
Weapons.
for weapons. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
I
so
am back. No.
so acha, okay,
Okay,
I'll
no,
speak and then Chris can
let
talk.
no, no, let
हाँ
Chris
ठीक
go
है,
only.
Chris
It's
बोलो,
fine.
Chris बोलो.
Chris,
No,
Okay,
no,
your
yes,
Chris.
second choice.
And let Chris say. Yeah, it's
yes,
fine.
my
Go
second
on, go
choice
on.
is
So it wasn't
Joel
badass Ravi.
Yes,
Yeah,
Joel
yeah.
At the door.
it wasn't bad as Ravi Kumar. Yes.
You
is
wouldn't be back this soon. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
is Joel Potricus for Balkanize the Dora.
My name is Derek Skiba, and you're watching Faces of Death.
They don't do intros.
Oh my gosh, Marty.
Oh.
This is a
Wow,
film
you
that I
watched
found
it?
out. I did. I found out about
Actually, why am I
through.
surprised? Chris is the only one who listens to my recommendations. Thank you, Chris.
That is also true.
Sorry for being this mean.
Uh, no, it's all good. So, the one thing I have to give a caveat at the very beginning is that I'm relatively new compared to these buddhas at doing this kind of
Yes.
analysis of films, and editing and score are the two things
Sure.
that, it's one of those things that sort of blends into the background.
Editing
So
is
different
harder to also pass through, I think. So, yeah.
parts,
The more
it's one
harder
of those
it is,
things.
the more well edited
In
it is.
many
That's
ways, yeah.
Exactly.
Hmm.
It's oftentimes only recognizable when it is bad. Like I was thinking back, like this year, for example, a film like
like your
Black Bag.
favorite movie. Like your favorite movie. But
Yes, but like I was thinking of a film like Black Bag for this, for example,
yes,
which
yes,
I
yes.
which I quite liked, but it
Black
is a
Bag is
film that's a little.
badly edited?
No, it's not badly edited. It's a bit over like tightened as a
Over
film. So
edited.
It
It's over
is,
edited. It
yeah,
is
things
it is
don't
hyper
get the room
stylized.
to. Yeah,
Hmm.
I wouldn't say hyper
No
stylized. I'm
black. Oh,
saying that
by
the
the way,
scenes.
just to mention,
Yeah.
no Black Bag in our discussion
No,
here,
no
which is very
mention here.
surprising given all of you were fawning over it when it came out. But anyways,
No, I
We
really
all
like it, but
liked
I
it.
think मेरा जो
okay,
choices है, which I think it
sure.
explains
I
it.
mean, when it came out, I
I
know,
haven't
I,
watched
because
Black Bag yet. I haven't watched Black Bag yet, so I
yeah,
can't
everyone,
comment.
because I know a lot of people really liked it. So anyways,
Oh, Stephen Soderbergh movie, right? Or
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
He's
Stephen
I didn't
Soderbergh.
watch it yet. I
generally we
didn't
are
watch it yet. I didn't
favorites.
watch it. I
Yeah,
didn't
it's
watch it.
good. It's good. I mean, liked it a little
It's
less
really
than you
good.
guys, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So
Chris, yeah,
one of
sorry, you were
the
saying.
one of the big thing is that the film's ka scenes don't get the room to breathe, so it doesn't
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
like register. So compare it. So for me, it's generally harder to figure out which movies have good editing.
Hmm.
But I think for me, Balkanizadora was one of those films that I felt like there's such an excellent job done in the edit to build this, this tension, because there's a moment that happens in the film which Drew will talk about later. I'm not gonna spoil it, but um it's a sort of really slow build up to it. Like you can clearly tell something is about to happen, but you don't know what is about to happen. And I
Yeah.
think that manifests really wonderfully in the edit, where they sort of, started off as this, like, almost buddy film where these two guys, one is really like annoying and the other is like quiet. They're not going on this
Really
trip
annoying.
together.
Like really. Like you can
Like grating, like
yeah.
you want to turn the movie off level of annoying he
Yeah.
is. But it sort
And
of
he's
it
played
it,
by the
it built
director, by the way, I think.
by the
Yeah.
director, and that sort of back and forth is built, and it juxtaposes the silence of this character, the one
Yeah.
character, with the sort of non-stop like chatter mouth of the other. And especially when it builds up to that scene, and then how that scene itself, I think, is
Oh
edited is
yeah.
absolutely
I'll
wonderful.
expand on this, but yeah.
He'll
Yeah.
expand on it, how they
Mm.
reveal it, the exact, how you actually see the exact thing of what happens. I think
Yeah.
it does a, like, it's one of those films where you can see that it's very carefully edited, because if you don't edit it this carefully, the entire impact of the film will get lost,
Absolutely. And it's
especially because
81 minutes. So it's like very, in any case, it's like edited into something shorter, you can
And
say.
damn, it's that short?
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
and
that
it's
short.
like the
Give it a
whole thing
chance,
is about
Amartya.
that.
It's not as
Yeah,
harmonic
it's
or encoded.
yeah,
Oh,
it's not.
Yeah.
maybe
I
I
mean,
will. 81 minutes I can still watch.
Yeah.
Maybe I will. Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, since the whole film essentially rests on that one moment, and
Yeah.
then the aftermath of it, if you don't edit it to have maximum impact,
Yeah.
the entire film will fall apart. So I
Yeah,
think it
absolutely.
was one of those films where I was able to see that, the how masterfully it sort of brings out this reveal. I think it happens because of how good they edited. So
Yeah,
that was my
good,
pick.
good. I mean,
Best edited.
solid choice, I would say. But anyways, that doesn't matter. It's not like I'm like the authority on all this. Uh,
And it's also my second choice, obviously.
of
So
course, it's your second choice. The first one is the
mm.
best.
The first one
So
is the best, even though
Hmm.
your axiom of editing completely flies over badass Ravi Kumar's editing. But ठीक है.
sir, there is no axiom in that
Hmm.
film. What is
Break
an
the
But
rules.
axiom?
that film is transcendental of all axioms and human
Rules,
दिल के
principles.
everything.
ताजमहल में दिल के ताजमहल में. Anyway.
Oh God. Anyways, Aryan and Adityan, I'll call out you both
Yes.
because you have the same pick, which is
Yes.
a very understandable pick, I think. But yeah, please go ahead. Talk about your pick.
Yes.
Yeah,
Here, who
Aryan,
who goes? Who goes
Aryan, you
first?
can
Stephen
Who's
introduce.
going?
Marion.
Yeah,
Stephen Marion for F1, definitely,
F1.
because
Yes.
F1 the movie.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I'm offering you an open seat in Formula One. The only place you could say, if you win, you are the absolute best in the world.
so when I watched it for the first time, it
Hmm.
was like an early access premiere or something like that at AMC, one of those fancy events. I was mesmerized by how
Hmm.
well pace the entire film was,
Hmm.
because I was like really skeptical going for the movie, not because I was not hyped or excited for
Hmm.
it. I definitely was, especially coming right after Maverick,
Hmm.
and it had a solid PR team behind it and
Hmm.
everything. But I knew that I was gonna watch it on IMAX, but I was skeptical going in because it had been a long day. I went for the screening right after work and a lot of commute. And I thought that maybe I'm not well rested enough to appreciate or fully get the most out of this film.
Hmm.
I was enthralled by the end,
Hmm.
given how much it literally flies away, no pun intended. And it's excellent,
Literally
and
flies away.
especially given how much it compacts all those races in the
Mm.
entire tournament. I think even the scenes in between, the more quote unquote talkative scenes, I think even
Mm.
they're blended in so well, so much so that after I watched the film for the first time back in June,
Hmm.
when I went back to India, it had been playing at the PVR around near me for more than 2 months, and
Yeah,
I
it's done
had been sitting
internationally
up
really
watching
It's
it.
well.
still running.
So
It's still
It's
running.
done
It's
yeah.
still
so
running.
good.
Hmm.
It's still
So I
running.
was surprised. I had
Hmm.
been meaning to rewatch it on the big
Hmm.
screen again, but then again, given the length and given the standard format, not to sound like a brat,
Hmm.
I was like, maybe
Hmm.
I don't think I should go for it again, especially
Sure.
having watched it in IMAX once. And I know it's a long film. I don't know how
Hmm.
well it would hold. I don't know if it would hold as good as Maverick did for me on a
Hmm.
rewatch, which was incredibly well. I
Hmm.
was like, never mind. You know what? I'm not
Hmm.
bothering to go watch it again on the big screen. Having said that, the day it came out on VOD,
Hmm.
I was like, Dad, let's watch this. And again,
Hmm.
just like Maverick, just in case of
Hmm.
Maverick, I was pleasantly surprised at how well it played even on a second viewing. And I
Hmm.
think it all comes down to the editing.
Hmm.
Definitely, Kirk Kaczynski is a great director. He has a
Hmm.
lot of that quote unquote dynamism that we have talked about, and that I think
It's very
it's a
sleek
given. You
also,
have to
no?
have that. It's
Very
very slick.
slick.
It's very slick.
Click.
It's what Siddharth Anand aspires to be, but can never achieve. But
Please.
let me
especially
let me remind people, last episode में we said a
Yes.
t-shirt quotation, सिद्धार्थ आनंद at least director है.
Siddharth Anand, director.
oh yeah,
सिद्धार्थ
This
आनंद
was
the
in
director है.
relation to you guys talking about
What
Ayan
Ayan
to?
Mukherjee.
Mukherjee, who
Yes, yes.
Yes.
directed War to air quotes.
Yes.
Allegedly, apparently directed.
Apparently he directed. मुझे
Listen,
तो नहीं लगता किसी ने direct किया है वो
I
movie.
am gonna spin this conspiracy that he's essentially destroying this universe just so that he can make Wake Up Sid 2. Okay? He's
all the
uh,
universes,
All
Brahmastra,
the
all the
whatever.
universe.
universe.
He'll destroy
All the
our
universe
universe
conspires
also
to.
if he releases one more of these movies. So
How
He'll
is
destroy Zoom
Brahmastra going to be
also.
destroyed when he's the one who is creating it? और destroy करके भी
the
क्या फायदा है?
creation and destruction is the same force here.
I am
That's
the
the thing.
destroyer of worlds.
Yes,
Yeah.
But yeah,
Exactly.
the
I
Shiva
I
reference,
really hope
not Shivai, of
another
course.
movie
Sorry.
that I would have loved to see on this list would have been the last Mission Impossible movie, The Final Reckoning. But of course,
Sir,
you
please
guys
no.
know
No.
how that went.
Please no.
You guys, you
No.
all know how that went
As
down.
That
best
first
So
half is
edited,
such a
I was.
sloppily
no,
You
massacred
no,
of
no,
an
can't.
no.
No, no.
We
I would have
You
wanted
wanted
liked
it.
it.
it. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
have
Yes.
liked it to be on this list, given how condensed and sleekly edited and presented all the MI films, especially the last
Hmm.
three, have been
Hmm.
in the franchise. But no, not this
I
one.
think both
Definitely not.
Aryan and I agree that first half of MI Final Reckoning is one of the most horribly edited shit we
It's
have
it's
Horrendous.
seen in
a
a
It's like
fan
an
while.
edit. It's
extended fan video.
essentially a
Exactly.
fan edit. Okay,
It
for
is
the
a fan
first
edit.
ten,
Just
the
saying,
All those
Adityan
editing
is a
first
fan
10
flashbacks.
here,
minutes.
okay? So just.
I am also
Oh, I
a
am a
fan.
fan. I am
I
a
know you
I
guys
am
fan.
like
also
your
Trust me.
a
movie,
Like
but still,
fan.
just.
it
I
is
It's
on
don't.
also
this
not.
list. It is on
I
both
know.
of our list, mine and Chris's. But still, it's
Mm,
the editing that pulls it. But
Yeah.
anyway, going
Mm.
back to F1, I wrote this on for my review of F1 as well. Right after I came out of the
mm,
screening, F1 gave me the kind of movie watching escapist
mm.
experience that I would have liked out of the Final Reckoning. That I would have
Mm.
wanted. That I wanted
Okay,
out of the Final Reckoning. And
Absolutely.
I think it all comes down to the editing because, as
sure.
I said again, I was really skeptical on rewatching it
Mm,
because of the length, because of how much it sprawls over the entire tournament and all the very
mm.
generic and surface level character arc. But I think it flows incredibly
I mean,
well all the way through
I'm,
the last three.
I'm not
Um,
high on the film. I know Adityan's a huge fan. I know I'm not a fan of the film, but I remember one sequence which I was like, that was one of the few where I was like, that made me want to get up off my cinema chair and clap in a way was the tire changing
Oh
sequence
yeah,
because
Yes,
Mm.
it
yes,
Okay,
first
yes.
is
one, right?
correct.
the with the girl because it is like you know what you call the Swiss clock, how
Mm.
With
smooth
precision. It's the
the
yes,
precision,
yes,
yeah.
precision and
yes,
the
yes.
like
It
everything
is
there
sleek.
sort of comes.
It is
Yeah,
sleek in every regard. And
Everything
you
is in
yeah,
know,
clockwork. Yeah.
yeah,
when Chris and you all talked about how great editing doesn't seep through, that's
yeah.
when you know
Yeah.
when it's an experience, when it encapsulates
I
in
mean,
you in the
I
experience.
mean, you guys are
This
particularly
is
talking about.
flashy, but that's why
Mm.
it
Yeah,
works.
it's not
Yeah.
that
It is
flashy.
all about the kineticism. It all comes down to this.
I would say flashy
I think
editing in
Uh,
a conventional movie,
uh,
or no conventional as in like sorry, conventionally narrativized
action
movie
movie.
is
Mm.
the example for that I
mm,
would cite is 28 years later. That has flashy
Yes.
Mm.
Oh
editing,
yeah, yeah.
Leading a
True.
bike.
Which
yeah,
did not work for me at
which
all,
didn't
which
work for
makes
you,
Same.
which
yeah.
worked. That is one of
Mm,
my favorite sequences in the film, like the flashiest scene in
Okay.
some ways. I'm not going to talk
Yeah.
about it, but like
yeah.
for me, that's the
Uh,
flashy editing. I wouldn't say this has flashy editing, like to me
Okay.
at least.
Hmm.
F1 didn't have. But Amartya, did you go already for yours? Yeah, no, you didn't
No,
say
no.
because
yeah,
yeah, go ahead,
No,
Amartya.
Adit.
Adityan,
Sorry, Adityan.
Adityan,
Yeah,
uh,
Adityan.
you go to
Steve,
F1 and then
uh,
yeah, then Jomar.
Steve, Stephen, I mean, this was a no-brainer choice for me, F1
Sure.
in editing category because
Hmm.
I've seen from the behind the scenes is that first decided to make a whole film for the entire F1 season, 24
Hmm.
Mm.
races. but they even made it. They even made around some around hours of footage, hundreds of hours of footage they got, I guess, for this movie. So it might have been some kind of a mini series material for this movie, I
Sure.
would say definitely.
Hmm.
But the choice to edit this from a mid-season Silverstone was one of the most best decisions, I would say, because
Sure.
you are not confusing the first time viewers who are coming into this, who are knowing about the tournament F1, which is me, of course. I knew about this tournament. I mean, I love the physics behind this tournament, the engineering, but I don't really catch up the races, unlike now after the
Yeah.
F1 movie. So you take the movie and you divide the 9 races it revolves around, and there is accessible editing in this. It doesn't confuse the viewers on putting
Yeah.
jargons here and there,
Yeah.
and at the same time it's the pacing, and it's also has the most unconventional, not like, some of the most sports movies, what they do is they use this usual coverage angles that they use in this live broadcasting. In F1 live broadcast, what you have is that you have from the outside some cameras and the top angle and your halo cam, which is in your car, of course. After that, there's nothing so ingenious about the editing in the live broadcast. But here, for the viewers to make it exciting, for in a movie, the film makes some different choice of editing with Stephen Marine making it, and they even made 3 endings for this film with this actually. I don't know if Amartya will get this. I mean, Joseph cut Vetrimaran route out of this. Like, okay, but let me make my film, let me
Okay.
cramp all the
Exactly.
footage. Let me cramp all the footage and make a story out of this. So actually, they had one ending like Brad Pitt getting a concussion and Joshua Pierce winning, kind of like
Hmm.
one ending. So three
Yeah,
endings
I
were there,
thought
but
I thought the ending that would make more sense is for him to let the guy win, or like allow like him being the support as opposed to winning the race. I was like, interesting choice to make
The
Brad Pitt win
old
the
ways
race.
always win, though. That's the point of the
always
movie, isn't
that's
it?
the point of the movie.
Yeah, it
So
is. I think that's
so
why it
this one.
works actually.
I mean, it's
So I mean,
basically the
I
same thing
also
as
also
Maverick.
also
It is the same thing. It is
the
literally
input
the same template for me.
Yeah,
the
it's the same
inputs the
film. Yeah.
inputs given by the racers. I mean, the first choice was to start the movie with the Baja sequence, the
Hmm.
last scene. But they
Right.
started with the first Daytona sequence, which is I
Hmm.
would say definitely a great editing choice, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So
Bookends
there
the
has been
movie
a
really well.
so you make something like this so visually immersive and easily accessible to an audience, to an international audience. that
But
that would be this is a great editing
Yeah.
feat,
No,
I would say.
but I
This is a
think
great
what
editing
going
what
feat.
you
back to the second, point Aditya mentioned, making it
Hmm.
more quote unquote accessible for the
Hmm.
general audience. I think that's the biggest compliment I can
Yeah,
give
yeah.
the editing for the
Absolutely.
movie, because the editing is what makes the otherwise heavy exposition accessible.
Mm-hmm.
It
Absolutely.
makes it
Yes,
literally it really insulates the bad exposition,
Mm-hmm.
which is at this point a staple, especially
I mean,
when
you
you're
have
talking
to
about
Yeah.
explain the rules to people. You can't like I
No,
had
I'm
exactly.
no
also.
idea
I
Yeah.
what
think
happened,
the
what was
editing
happening otherwise.
makes that it
Neither does
insulates
the
it to a
story
great
or the
extent.
filmmakers, but वहाँ पे नहीं
But
जा
I
रहे.
no,
mean, yeah, but the rules
no,
are
no.
very loose, right? So I think that's the whole
Mm-hmm.
idea
Yeah.
with the
No,
film.
but I'm
So
saying, like, so for someone like me, that if there are two things in this world I do not care about, it's cars and sports. Okay, I could not care less about these two things in my life. And if you can get me this invested in a film with have
and you
absolutely
without
no
having the
problems,
support of Tom Cruise in it, so that's a
Tom
huge thing.
Cruise and Brad
Yeah,
Pitt, who I'm not the biggest fan of,
yeah.
and also make me enjoy it enough that I go out of my way to watch it a second time,
Second
what, like
time,
four
yeah,
days later.
yeah.
It's that edit, and that edit maintains that energy so immensely well. Like, I was also thinking of something like, even I thought of it with the score as well, but it reminded me so much of Challengers from last year, because I
yes,
feel like the
exactly,
score is
exactly,
very
exactly.
Hans Zimmer's version of the Trent Reznor Atticus Ross
Yes,
score from
yes.
Yes.
Challengers,
Agree, 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 agree.
Interesting.
but it's got that energy is maintained in that edit that you feel it like, because
I
for
can see
me
Amartya being impatient about this, but fine. Because
no,
Amartya
but
really
my
loves challenges, I know, and then I think he's a
I
little
also
colder on
adore
F1.
No, no, no.
No,
Challengers.
no,
I
he's a
think
Yeah.
little
everyone
colder
I'm
on
not
F1
adores.
than
cold.
you
I'm
guys.
not cold on F1 per se. Listen, I always talk about this. Ki I like movies that are very efficient. I like
Hmm.
movies that understand its template so well
Of
that it
course.
uses its template to peak precision.
Hmm.
If I'm looking at this movie from a technical standpoint, it is precise to a inordinate degree,
Hmm.
Hmm.
and that is impressive. That is
Yeah.
exceedingly impressive, which is why my coldness basically stems from the fact that it is templatized to a fault. That is my
Haha,
coldness,
which
and
is
it is not like, and it is
understandable,
not like
yeah.
Maverick, where the templatization actually also has an emotional beating heart. The beating
Yeah.
heart is here also, but
Hmm.
that is taking into account a lot of other things in this, and
Hmm.
also, like, listen, I don't agree with Varun on a lot of
He's
things. Okay, I really don't. All right, but I do agree with
he's
Varun on
back.
one very specific thing. This
No, no,
movie
please.
doesn't understand F1. This movie really doesn't
Okay, okay,
understand
like
F1.
the
So,
sort of
so my point being, so
real.
it uses the very easy thing to make you invested in a sport.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Show us how to break the sport. Show us
Hmm.
all the loopholes of the sport so that the viewers can understand what the rule of the sport actually is
But
about.
it
Which is
is
fine.
it
Which is
also
fine.
is a
Hmm.
it's
Bolo, bolo.
also playing as a propaganda, right, for the
Yeah,
sport. So how
exactly,
can it
exactly.
Hmm.
it has to make
Which is
it
Yeah,
why
it's
it
a
is
PR,
Maverick
PR
also. Which is
yeah.
why it is like Maverick also, right? Because
It is a
Maverick.
Absolutely.
giant PR machine, this film.
Listen,
Yes,
Maverick is
100%.
it
yeah.
has those political connotations. That's why a lot of people had issues with its underlying themes and what
Hmm.
you know what never. But this is like literally out there. This is like a giant PR wheel, even in terms of its marketing, its massive billboards,
F1,
especially over
F1
here.
is literally, F1 literally published the trailer. F1, the
Hmm.
YouTube
Yeah,
channel
yeah,
of
yeah.
F1 published the
Hmm,
trailer. If
Trailer.
that is not
exactly.
propaganda, I don't know what else
I mean, come
is.
on, we can't be
It's a
blaming
great.
people for making
No, I'm not
propaganda that way,
blaming
right?
anybody. I'm not
Yeah.
No,
blaming
no,
anybody for
no,
this.
but
I'm
I'm
just,
just
It's a
telling
good
I'm,
PR,
Amartya that
man.
Yeah, it's good PR. I
that's
mean, I
why
was
it's
about to say
it's
that.
good PR. I'm
understandable
not
Yeah.
blaming
why
anybody. I'm not
Hmm.
blaming anybody for
that's
this.
why it's
I'm,
understandable. I'm
hmm.
I'm telling Amartya that
Hmm.
if a fan of F1 racing or anything, if they think that it doesn't get the sport, I think
And
it is just
I'm
generalizing
not
to
a
an
fan of
extent to
F1
make you
either.
Hmm.
Hmm.
want.
I'm
I
not a fan
discuss.
of F1 either.
I
Okay.
Hmm.
But
I
my thing is unlike
Continue.
Adityan, who got
Hmm.
invested into the sport after watching the
Hmm.
movie. Okay.
yeah.
Right.
I had the opposite experience
Okay.
because
Hmm.
I am a guy who likes watching the movie and getting invested into the nitty-gritty of the sports, which is
Hmm.
primarily I think why I like sports documentaries more. Okay,
Hmm.
Hmm.
because like if anybody hasn't seen The Last Dance, Michael Jordan's Chicago
Hmm.
Bulls The
Hmm.
Last Dance, which is on Netflix, the 10 episode series,
Hmm.
that documentary is a giant PR machine for Michael Jordan, by the way.
Hmm.
Giant PR
Yes.
machine. It is one of the
Hmm.
most sleekly edited documentaries I've seen in my
Hmm.
life. But that
Hmm.
documentary made me so invested in basketball, you have
Hmm.
no effing idea. Because
Hmm.
that documentary also made me interested in the overall rule book and everything within the machinery of basketball,
Sure.
Hmm.
which made me also understand the Steven Soderbergh film High Flying Bird, because before watching that documentary I could not understand that movie.
Great movie,
So
by the way.
I'm like, great
Hmm.
movie.
Hmm.
I'm just saying ki when a movie is accessible, there are
Hmm.
two ways to make a movie connect to a larger audience who is not
Hmm.
familiar with your sport. The process taken here worked for a lot of people. It
Hmm.
didn't work for me.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
It didn't work for me. That's it.
It's fair.
I
Hmm.
completely understand the editing. I absolutely agree. This movie is ginormous runtime. This
I
movie
mean,
has a ginormous
I'm
runtime.
even less fond of it than you are, and but I can see how well
Hmm. This movie
made
has
it
a
is at
ginormous
times.
runtime. But
Yeah.
again, let me remind people.
Hmm.
The predecessor of F1 is a 1966 movie called Grand Prix, which is by
Hmm.
John Frankenheimer, which is a fucking 3 hour long movie. Okay?
Really?
And that
Okay.
movie is boring as hell.
Okay.
That movie is boring as hell. Other than the car chase, other than the racing sequences, that movie is
Hmm.
boring as hell. There is a similar thing. There is a similar movie made by a director who वो Joseph Kosinski is now touted as this generation ka
Days of
director,
Thunder.
which is Days of Thunder by the
Tony
late
Scott.
great Tony Scott.
Hmm.
Tony
Tony
Scott.
Scott.
And Days of Thunder is, I'm being charitable in calling it garbage, but the racing sequences are extraordinary.
Sure.
Everything else is utter garbage. The
Okay.
racing sequences are extraordinary.
I
But
mean,
that's what
Chris
I'm saying.
probably loves it because,
Yeah,
Tom.
but that's what
Yes,
I'm
yes,
saying.
no Days of Thunder slander. I
But
ran back
Yeah.
just to say that.
but my point is, it's a massive balancing act
Sure.
to make you invested in both the personal as well as the racing sequences, and
Sure, of
F1
course.
does that. And
Yeah,
I am
yeah.
always
F1.
going to admire the movie for that.
Yeah.
No
Adityan,
question about
yeah.
it.
Adityan, you were saying something?
I
After this,
I
we'll
watched
move
I
on,
watched
by the
I
way.
watched F1 I watched F1 4 times, man. By the way, in theaters,
No, I know you're a huge fan, and that's totally,
two
it's
times in
understandable
IMAX,
also.
two times
Yeah,
in
yeah.
CinemaScope.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to get a UHD steelbook too of it. So yeah,
Nice.
But that's good. No, I mean, again, it's one of those things I can totally understand why someone loves F1.
I also
I
made a
just,
podcast with a
yeah.
friend of
I know,
mine
yeah. We'll,
who loves F1. So
yeah.
he breaks down a lot of things, the
Sure.
plus and minus of how F1 the sport is really
Yeah.
accurate with it. So that was
Sure.
really an eye-opening experience for me. So
Sure.
I've been watching now. Also, I was watching Monza Grand Prix right now.
Hmm.
So
I mean, see, if a film can make you
If a
more
film makes
interested
you
in what it is
invested in a
about, what else
sport,
do you
yeah.
want?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
definitely.
that's the highest praise you can give a film,
And
I
also,
think.
I would love to. Okay, we'll talk about F1 later. But
You have
let's
it
go
later
talk
also, so
Amartya
we'll
with.
we'll, we'll sort of
Yeah,
expand
so
upon it
Amartya,
later. But
we can go
yeah,
Amartya,
Amartya, you
Amartya.
can go. Yeah, your choice.
So weapons.
This is a true story that happened in my town. So this one Wednesday is like a normal day for the whole school. But today was different.
This is one movie that has grown on me the more and more that by the time I left the theater to now, the more I think about this movie, the more this movie has grown on me. And I
Sure.
think that is primarily because of Zach Kreger leveling up as a filmmaker, especially in
Sure.
terms of his editing.
Hmm.
Uh, from a narrative standpoint, I don't think this is as strong as Barbarian. I don't think
Okay.
so. But
Hmm.
from a filmmaking standpoint and from an
Hmm.
editing standpoint, the seamless way in which he transitions from a dream sequence to reality.
Hmm.
Okay, there are some massively beautiful sequences, especially
Hmm.
like Julia Garner walking through a darkened high school hall to
Hmm.
suddenly moving backward into reality, or
Hmm.
the camera gliding as Alden Ehrenreich moves from his police car door to arresting another guy. It's
Hmm.
like each and every sequence, it's edited so well,
Hmm.
because this movie is juggling multitude of tones. It is
Hmm.
going to be a horror movie. It is going to be a sort of like a quote unquote city symphony, in that there are multitude of people within a section. It's like
Oh yeah, the Magnolia
it is his
comparison
homage to
came.
Magnolia.
I was about to say
Yeah, it is his
Magnolia came.
homage to Magnolia in a way. So
Yeah.
it is going to be a horror movie. It is going to be a black comedy. It is going to be a drama. It is juggling so many tones.
Yeah.
And it is also going to be like an exotic scare movie in the vein of those 1930s voodoo movies. Okay, so
Hmm.
it is going to be that also. It is also going to be like the Shining homages. It is also
Hmm.
going to be his Stanley Kubrick homage. So
Hmm.
there are so many different things he's using. So he's utilizing his trademark of episodic vignette like storytelling, and he's
Hmm.
breaking it down. So the pacing of this movie is so good
Hmm.
that unless you have a very skilled editor, you
Yeah.
won't be able to hold interest in each and every
Sure.
one of the segment of this movie, even though the dread is slowly increasing as we are reaching into the flashback section,
Sure.
revealing what is actually happening. You
Hmm.
cannot sustain your interest and sustain the interest of the audience unless your editing is near flawless. The
Sure.
only time this movie I think falters is towards the end, and that too because the climax is like, I love the climax because the
Hmm.
climax is both horrifying, but in the theater I
Non-spoilers.
laid
Sorry, we've not seen it.
yeah,
Hmm.
no spoilers.
Hmm.
But in the theater I laid out an audible laugh. I
Okay.
laughed out
Hmm.
loud in the
Hmm.
sequence. It is
It
horrifying, but
was
I was
brilliant.
laughing.
It is
Yeah,
Hmm.
brilliant.
I
And
was
the
laughing.
sheer the
Bolo, bolo.
sheer scale at which it comes out
Oh
of,
yeah.
I wouldn't say out of nowhere, but it's just the last thing you would expect
Yeah, the
for
last
for
thing you
a
would,
showdown.
when he does that, I'm like, oh, you actually went there. I
Hmm.
was like,
Hmm.
damn, that
Okay.
was good. But my
Hmm.
only issue is it ends so abruptly.
Hmm.
Like
Okay.
it ends very abruptly. But other than that, I think the editing of this
I
movie is
think
near flawless.
Okay.
Near
I
Joe
flawless.
think
Murphy,
it
right?
is like
Joe
Joe
Murphy,
Murphy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I kind of got like an implication that it was going for something kind of politically hefty, but then decided to leave it a bit ambiguous, and that's why
Hmm.
it ended like the way it did. Because based
Okay.
on how he's been going around all the interviews, where the interviewers would ask him, "Oh, what about the gun symbolism?" Which was I thought that it is
Okay.
about high school shootings, it is about mass shootings, it is about this cult-like figure that's encapsulating a part of
It's also
the
if you check
evangelist.
Aryan, it's also
Hmm.
if you check Aryan, a number of movies that are actually dealing with children as the subject of
Hmm.
horror, like
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
young people being manipulated to such an extent that they are being
Hmm.
weaponized.
Hmm.
Yeah,
We have
it is
weapons
about
for,
that.
it
Exactly.
is about that. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Children of the
And
damned,
then
more or less.
that's
Yeah.
why I think it works really well. That's why it is, for me, one of the best films of the year so far as well.
Hmm.
Because it uses the children trope, and by the end actually gives them the agency. That's
Yes.
when you know it is
I
well
think this has
thought out.
been
That's when you know,
potentially spoiled for me, Chris and Adityan, but sure.
oh, you haven't watched it?
Nope.
No.
No, but I wouldn't
Time
say
to time to
how
we
and when
we
and
we will we
where, but
will at least I will take a break for 2 months and then watch it so that I've
yeah.
forgotten what you've said.
Give it the
But
No,
anyways,
but
Honest,
he doesn't
yeah.
actually tell what actually happens.
sure,
That's
sure,
the
sure.
whole
No,
No, no,
I'm
no,
point.
no.
kidding.
It's
I'm
it's, it's
kidding. No, no,
And
I'm just I'm
I will argue that what Aryan is saying is actually, I will disagree whether what he's saying is actually true or not.
okay,
So
okay,
even in that
Hmm.
respect, yeah.
okay.
But
Interesting.
again, it's like
Seamlessness,
it's a
right? You were saying it.
fascinating movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
it's a
in terms of
fascinating movie.
editing. Yeah.
Yeah,
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 okay, so I'll
seamless.
I'll quickly get my pick over. I didn't know what to select as usual. I was thinking
Hmm.
of as Chris said, little hard to judge editing when, especially when the seamlessness part of it happened. Part of me wanted to select F1, but then I was like, I also just want to select films which I really liked. But I didn't overall like F1 that much. So, uh, no, best editing for me, I went for a very, very niche choice in some ways. It's not even like released properly.
Hmm.
I think it's releasing on the Criterion later this year, from whatever I know, because the director had mentioned this. But it's Milisothando, which again is a person's name, a South African woman's name.
In a place like South Africa, how do you trust? What do you trust? Are these even the right questions?
And this is and the editor of this film is Hank Yol Lee. So this is basically one of those. I think the best way to put this is this. Last year we talked in brief about soundtrack to a coup d'état, which is a lot of our
Oh
favorites.
yeah.
In a lot of our favorites, right? So
Hmm.
from one of the best documentaries of recent times, essentially. And this sort of, I think Aryan was saying about how the seamlessness. And I think a lot of you have talked about seamlessness, but like this sort of film, you can't be seamless about the edits because the editing is the movie in many ways. Like, of course, editing is crucial to so many movies, but like in this sort of poetic montage, right? This free form montage of this.
Hmm.
So it's basically a South African woman telling a country story through her life experience
Hmm.
essentially. And rather than like going very like point by point through it, she's doing like a proper interrogation through poetic montage, free form sort of filmmaking. And in this,
Hmm.
editing is the crucial factor in many ways to make it stand out or not stand out. And this has the poeticism in this is like wonderfully done, and like the way it juggles personal history, political history of this woman and South Africa and apartheid, and sort of how the effects of that have lingered on in her personal relationships with her white friends. All that's done really beautifully. And again, the idea is it's not just about matching, it's about juxtaposing, and in the way it's moving between different formats, between archival footage, between home video, between normal footage, between just not having any footage and just relying on audio. And the way it's like juggling all these different elements, I thought was wonderful. Like again, an example I said soundtrack to a coup d'etat. Another example is
Hmm.
the one sequence from 28 years later, like that one
Hmm.
sequence, less, slightly less flashier than that, but like the one where time is collapsed and space is
Hmm.
collapsed into this stream of consciousness montage, essentially, of different histories, different people colliding at one point in time.
And that
So
young brother score and that young brother score playing in the background. Yeah.
in
I don't
this
know
is
why this sounds familiar like Persepolis.
yeah, it's a
Yes,
bit like
because it
that.
is.
It
It's
is,
a
it
bit
is.
like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Persepolis, I think,
Hmm.
uses animation as a way of
Yeah,
telling the story,
animation.
right?
Yeah,
That's a really
yeah,
good
yeah.
film, and a
I
lot. It's an
think this, you know
animated
what this reminds
documentary.
me of? You know what this
Hmm.
reminds me of? This reminds me of Bengali mini-series that I had watched 2 years back. It's directed by the same guy who made Shopon Kumarer Badami Hai Na
Okay.
Kabole,
Hmm.
Debalay
Okay.
Bhattacharya's Indubalar Bhater Hotel. I think I
Okay.
talked about this in a live stream.
I think so.
It uses the same dreamlike montage to tell
Yep.
tell the story of a woman and her small pice restaurant, but through that the history of Bengal in a way.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
a
So I
way.
mean, it's one of those very like super ambitious projects, but like again, I thought the mix between personal and political was absolutely wonderful. So I'm crediting
Hmm.
the editor and of course the director who name I
Interesting.
think yeah, I think some people I read online were very dismissive of the fact that people like I mean I'm not a fan of films which have like first names as titles sometimes because they're like I'm like just think
Hmm.
of something better. But in here it's so central to the film. Like it's a personal interrogation, like it's a political interrogation of a place through personal means. So I mean, if you don't put your first name in the title and put South Africa or like apartheid, it feels disingenuous. Like when you're talking about a place through a person's perspective, I think it's best to admit it and own it. And I think this does it really well. And yeah, very moving. I hope it gets released soon on Criterion. If anyone here wants to see it or like any people want to see it, you can get in contact. I can share the file with you
Hmm.
guys. Says it very softly. I have seen some hands up. I will share it with them. But Yes, and okay, yeah, so that's me done for editing, and all of us done for editing. We shall move on. I didn't
Hmm.
expect the editing discussion to be fairly long, but it's great. It's great to hear some people be
Great, we
very.
are better than the Oscars.
Yeah, I
Congratulations.
mean
Let's
it's
move on.
good. Like I'd rather spend much more time on this than like other stuff. But anyways, we move on to best cinematography, which is gonna get me and Chris beaten up. So we shall begin with ourselves, and then we shall move on to the
Misogyny
not
allegations begin in three, two,
two,
one.
one. Let's go. So I'll go move on with my pick first, and then after that, I think Chris can go. Chris, you won't have the misogyny allegations.
Hmm.
Your pick is decided
Okay,
already.
conventional. Yeah.
Anyways, my pick for best cinematography is Daria Di Antonio for Parthenope, which is Paolo Sorrentino's recent film.
May I join you?
No,
Why not?
because I don't want to steal 1 minute of your youth from you.
No, not recent film. He already released a film. This film festival
Hmm.
called La Grazia at Venice.
Yes.
This
Yes.
is his last film, which bombed badly, critically and I don't know commercially. Actually, I didn't check
What a
the receipts.
Hmm.
shock.
Well, he's the critical favorite. So it's not like critically bombing is a big thing for him.
Hmm.
Anyways,
I have
best
seen
cinematography.
parts of the movie. I have seen parts of the movie.
Yeah,
The cinematography is drop dead gorgeous, which kinda sorta makes sense because Sorrentino's movies all look gorgeous. It's
Hmm.
the content that is always a problem with
okay.
his
Hmm.
movies.
Which is I think a allegation shared by many,
Yes.
especially about Parthenope, because a lot of the complaints leveled against Paolo Sorrentino, I and they may hold weight. I am not defending him before watching his entire filmography. Neither am I accusing
Hmm.
him before watching his entire filmography. Are that his portrayal of women is, to put it lightly,
That
a
Hmm.
bit sexist, and
is putting it lightly.
I am putting it very lightly. And
I'm going to
Yeah.
paraphrase Judy Dench's dialogue in 1995's GoldenEye and pointing it at Paolo Sorrentino. Paolo Sorrentino, you are sexist, misogynist dinosaur. That's what you
interesting.
are.
So
Interesting.
once he decides
Hmm.
to make a movie about a woman, imagine what the allegations were when he decided to do that, because Parthenope is about a woman. Well, it's not even about a woman. Is she a woman who's a myth, or is she like a, it's all that stuff. It's all that stuff. Anyways, my point is the
Yeah.
movie looks gorgeous. Is that what I'm going to run with here? Oh God, I'm going
It
to get
is an
absolutely.
No, the movie
astonish.
looks absolutely gorgeous. Even I agree.
It
It's
is
an
an astonishingly beautiful
No, no, no,
film.
Adityan, no, it's not us.
Oh, no, no, no,
Adityan,
no, Aditya. No, no, no,
Adityan,
no,
you
no,
can
no.
voice this out. It's fine. I don't mind the interruption. It's okay.
Is it Emilia Perez Redux?
No, it's
No, because
Sounds like
Emilia Perez is even
Amelia
more
Perez is an
offensive.
ugly looking movie.
no,
That's also
yeah,
a
yeah.
fact.
No, no, the misogyny allegations are understandable to me to some
Yes.
extent, not entirely, but understandable in the sense that the main character, this is essentially following the main character, Parthenope, who's played by Celeste Porta. Her first
One of the
film,
most beautiful women to ever
she's a
exist. I'm not
gorgeous
even,
Yes.
looking
not
woman,
even
right?
kidding.
which
Beautiful,
which
beautiful.
automatically, for us would be like, oh, are you liking the cinematography because of who's in the frame or how the frame is, you know
Yeah.
To which we say, that's the same question Sorrentino wants you to ask as well.
kind
But ठीक है.
of. The
Yes.
point is, the film is, Aryan, have you seen Paolo Sorrentino films? You haven't? Okay, interesting.
I
You like it.
haven't,
You're the
but
member of
I
PPC.
know
Sorry, the head of PPC. Sorry.
Head of PPC.
I'm the head now. Amartya,
Yes.
what's this
I was the
behavior?
head, I
Amartya
thought. What
switched
do you
You
mean?
allegiances
resigned while I
last
was
year, no?
gone.
Aha.
Yeah.
Weird.
I became
Yeah.
an ultra
No.
feminist, to
But
be
I am
honest.
actually looking forward to book his new
La
film, which is
Grazia.
playing this year.
Apparently,
La
that's like
Grazia, yes,
totally
yes.
tuned out the his extravagance and made it like a proper
Yeah.
somber thing. Apparently, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's why it's on my list.
Yes.
okay, fine.
Seems very
Uh,
deep, but yeah.
Anyways, no, no, no. My point is, yeah. So the film is about following this woman who is, as I think we all have said, gorgeous to look at, and that is a point of the film in the sense that her beauty is constantly competing with her desire to be something more than the beauty. So she possesses a sort of intellect, which I think the film does a decent job of
Yeah.
exploring and putting forth as something, and I think her performance too does a good job of sort of establishing that she is not just a beauty, that she is more than that, and the whole film is about that tension, about beauty wanting to be more than intellect, about intellect wanting to be beautiful in some ways, because the people she meets, especially a very memorable character played by Gary Oldman, one of the really, really good performance in, like, he's a cameo in this, and his section I think is the best section in the film. He's this old, beaten down writer, gay writer, who is so frustrated with his old age, and he's basically saying, he is saying to her, go live your life, go be like, use your beauty in some ways. And she's told to be an actress. She's pushed in a direction to essentially accept her as just a beauty, and the film, I think, does a good job of pushing back against it. And I think the camera work by Daria D'Antonio, and I don't know how gender differentiate here, okay, like the whole thing where Paolo Sorrentino is the director, Daria D'Antonio is a woman, and she's the cinematographer. How do you decide whose input is what and what is being discussed? I have no idea. Okay, I'm not going to throw out blame to people who have accused. I'm not going to throw out blame to people who have defended. I'm just saying it's more complicated. Like, if you're going to do the male gazy argument, then how do you account for the cinematographer involved here? Did she not say anything? Like, one of those things. Anyways, point remains, I never thought the film was salacious or sleazy. I think what Chris was mentioned, like that idea of sleaziness never crept in. To me, it was like capturing
It was gazy. It was
Was it
gazy.
gazy? I never felt it. I
It
never felt it
was.
that way. I
I
honestly
almost
didn't.
felt like it was admit like it was almost like an admiration of this sort of profundity of beauty. Like the idea of this, like if you know the Kantian idea of the sublime. This idea of something that is
Repeat
so
this, please, Chris.
The Kantian
the
idea of the sublime.
of the sublime. Kant as
Where,
in
where are we,
Immanuel
Chris?
Kant. Anyways, the idea of something that is so transcendentally beautiful that it's almost terrifying. Like it's like
Sure.
Kant uses the example of like an ocean wave, something that is
There's a because
so.
there's a lot of equation of the main character with Naples. Well, she is essentially named
She's a
after Naples.
representation
Yeah,
of Naples.
and the film I think
Yeah.
only works on a symbolic level. It doesn't work on a character individual level. It is a symbolic
And
film.
I also again I think that final reveal that happens in the movie of one particular character, I think sort of puts that final nail in the coffin that this is a lot more than what you see, at least on the surface level. For me, I think what I was telling through that it's really funny that so there is this thing, especially when you talk about Gary Oldman's character, of this gay admiration of youth and beauty. But
Hmm.
it can be of men, it can be of women, but it's actually
Yeah,
something that a lot of queer filmmakers
I
have
mean it's in
sort of
queer,
delved into. It's
which
in
we talk.
queer, it's a lot
Yeah.
of Guadagnino films and
Hmm.
stuff like that. So actually the admiration of beauty was so textured to me that I was telling Dhruv, I unironically googled to check if Sorrentino was gay by any chance, because it actually, like, that male gaziness, it didn't, if even if you say that it's male gazy, I don't think it's gauche or sleazy, or it's the idea of making perversion almost sophisticated, if that makes any sense at all. But it's
Paper de
it's so
Khosra pe
I
beautiful.
have you. I have a question.
Hmm.
Yes.
According to the myth,
Hmm.
Parthenope was a siren who drowned herself into the sea when her songs failed to
Hmm.
attract Odysseus.
Yeah, she
Yes.
drowns in this, not
She
literally.
drowns in this.
Not literally.
She, but she kinda sorta does.
Yeah, I mean,
And
in Naples, beauty and intellect can't exist together.
and basically there is a tomb. Naples is basically formed around her tomb
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
way. That's the overall
Yeah,
myth.
yeah. So I think the tragedy of the film is a bit like that, like in the sense that beauty and intellect can exist because you can just see the woman who we have been following, but no one allows it to exist in this
Hmm.
environment, which is Naples, I think, is what he's getting at. And I think
Yeah.
he's a local, he's stayed there and he has great affection for the place, but he also sees it as a freaking cesspit of
No,
misogyny.
but I think
But,
that is
anyways,
that is what makes the film work, right? Like Naples is as beautiful as Parthenope is.
yeah, yeah.
Like I'm someone who's a sucker for like beautiful shots of the ocean. Like again,
Oh,
watching a
yeah,
film
there's
like
like
The
insane
Master
amounts
or
of those.
whatever, when you put a good shot of just like sea foam of the
I would
ocean,
like
it
to,
is.
I would like
Huh.
to, I would like to point out, and I would like to basically highlight our friend Sanjeet Singh's work in one of the short films he has done.
Yes.
Uh, Really great job. Though I think even
You know
Sanjeet
what
would
the
agree
weird
with
thing
me.
is?
Even though Sanjeet would agree with me, the environment is so gorgeous. Some of those shots, even he didn't have to work that
You
hard.
know, great point. Because one of my notes is the location scouts deserve as much credit as the camera people working in this film, in a
Yes.
way, because
Absolutely.
does Naples look like insane? So, but we'll move on swiftly. I just wanted to discuss this film a little bit because of all the hoopla around us and
Around it.
Anora. Anyways, but I wanted to mention one shot which has stuck with me since, and it's not one of beauty or anything. It's this. There's a particularly pivotal scene that happens at the end of the first act, which is or which has someone dying essentially, and the way the camera floats in that scene, it like tilts up and then just lightly glides down. That is one of the more moving and poignant depictions of death I have seen in a film. I was just like, there is no need to have sound or show anything there. That was, I'm like, if a film has an image like that, that can sort of, if the whole idea is that there is something beyond the surface, that is my, like, I'm like, yeah, hai. Like, I remember that shot still. And I'm like, I can see, and I know that people. It's not something that will appeal to a lot of people who. It is a very European existential film, and it has a niche audience. I am its niche audience, is what I'm saying. So I'm
So am
getting at
I.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Aryan is also, which is I think what where he'll go for it also. So and
Is it like
PPC.
those art? I just now only I saw the Wikipedia page of it, and now
Hmm.
only I got the idea that most of these art house cinephile pages have this guy's profile picture, right? Just
Oh,
now
of
only
Paolo
I
Oh
realized.
Sorrentino.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Sorrentino. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
now only I get, but now only I get it's not my kind of a film, I guess. But still,
Sorrentino,
I'll
Yeah,
try
yeah.
my best.
there
I'll
is
try my
No,
best
no,
to
but
Sorrentino.
watch
there's
it.
other films he's made, Adityan, which are very different to this. Like they are very. I don't know. He's made a lot of films about Italian politics, from whatever I know, which are very
Didn't he
like.
make Youth? Didn't he make
He's
Youth?
made Youth, which I've never seen, but with Harvey Keitel and
And The Great Beauty,
no, no,
which is
that
also
the Great
that movie
Beauty,
is
the Great Beauty is La Dolce Vita.
yes, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
The Great Beauty is La
He's
Dolce Vita. Yeah.
it is that.
The movie
Anyway,
which pissed me off about Sorrentino was Hand of
Hand of
God.
God. I
Yeah, which
understand.
What
is
about
like
two
Hmm?
Devo? That's also like quite
I
get
think I
recognized,
think
right?
the whole reception is
Devo
that
or something.
Sorrentino's like become much more tampered down. Like he used to be very much more of the maximalist. Ki, sab kuch tuned up to 11. Now he's like sobered down, and I'm like, good. I
and
like
people are
sobered down.
like and people are like
It's
ये
like
sober down है.
Italian politics in general, no?
Yes, basically.
Yes. Anyways, we shall move on. Thank you for anyone for not saying anything horrible about us.
If nothing
Uh,
horrible has been said.
Whatever, doesn't matter. Anyways, you guys,
People are
I
already
shall.
tweeting out there.
No, no, no. I think it's fine. Anyways, Chris, I have you on my list. You can finish your thing.
Yes. Yes. So of course the the first of my two choices being of course Manoj Soni for the one and only badass Ravi Kumar for
दिल का
making
ताजमहल में दिल का ताजमहल में horrible cinematography, by the way, just putting it out
No,
there.
I
no.
am telling you
What do you
it
mean
is
horrible? What about that shot when Sunny Leone and Himesh Reshammiya meet in the middle of space?
Yes.
in an alternate universe.
In
It's
an
like a
alternate
techno.
universe.
It's like Cyberpunk 2077 or whatever level graphic.
Cyberpunk 2077 creators were shocked when they were told that their game is buggy. They will be even more shocked when they learn that their game is coming compared with badass Ravi Kumar.
Ravi Kumar. No, it's just the ability to make the tackiest looking film I have seen in my life. But that will always be better than whatever Netflix is making in that horrendous tacky thing. That is worse than this. Okay.
But and
Okay.
This
you
is
probably loved those
genuine.
crash zooms whenever they were doing Dil Ke Taj Mahal
They
mein,
go,
right? It's like
he
the
goes, ha
camera
ha,
is
and
like
then it like,
Ha ha ha. Yes.
it's like punching you in the
It's like
face.
punching you in the gut with a Muhammad Ali uppercut at this point, yes.
You know that, and then even the opening, oh my god, the even that it's you got the flashback of the cigarette and in black and white which then transition to these shots of Himesh's hair and all the
Aryan is
glasses.
literally thinking मैं कहाँ आ गया
why
but
Aryan,
ठीक
you should
है.
like this. You're like Gujarati, right? So it's like the same whatever thingy.
I like what?
Solidarity.
ये क्या comparison
Solidarity,
है?
huh?
I
Solidarity.
like I like what?
Gujaratis.
You're Gujarati, no, so you like in
Gujaratis.
solidarity.
But I don't like Gujaratis.
Okay.
That's the catch.
Okay.
I wanna
Yes,
run
so
away.
What is the
That's why I came
alternate
here.
choice, Chris?
my
Because
alternate choice
Which
is
also didn't
Claudio
help it
Miranda
anyway.
for F1 because I am basic and
Okay.
I think
yes.
F1 is
Hmm.
a insanely gorgeously shot film.
Hmm.
As I
Absolutely.
mentioned earlier, again, there are two things in this world I do not care about. It's sports and cars. And if you can get me invested in a film about sports and cars and make those cars look like of course F1 is a very glamorous sport. I don't think anybody's going to deny that. I mean
Agree,
it's
agree, agree.
like very aesthetically this thing, the lot of the stars of F1 become like these fashion icons. You look at someone like Lewis Hamilton, so on and so forth. But
Half
to
of the movies dealing with F1, which by the way are only three movies, that includes F1 the movie. All those movies mostly deal with the glamour behind
of
the sports people, basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
not
We,
the
So
sport.
yeah,
yeah,
not the
so the
sport.
thing is, even with some, like for example, with something like Maverick, I find like flying sequences to be far more dynamic and like exhilarating than I would like. I imagine I would like watching like a car race. Like even though I like Days of Thunder and I
Oh.
think it does a great job with the racing sequences, I still feel like I don't feel that level of exhilaration. But
What about
with
Tara
F1
Rampam?
and that is pure adrenaline. I mean,
Siddharth Anand is a
Siddharth Anand is
director.
back.
no,
Siddharth Anand
not
director
only
hai.
that. When Hrithik Roshan is badly photoshopped into an F1 car in the
In
climax of
Bang
Bang
Bang.
Bang,
Bang Bang. He's
that
driving an
is
F1 car in the streets of
Back, back,
Paris.
back, back, back,
Paris.
back to F1, the movie, Chris. Sorry
Back
for
to
my
F1,
deviation.
That's
but
Dubai.
there
Dubai,
is,
Dubai,
yes,
yeah.
Dubai. There is like this
खराब करो ना
incredible
मुझे
camera
कभी.
work
Hmm.
where they put these 360 cameras inside the cars, and you've got these wonderful moments where it sort of moves from Brad Pitt's perspective or the driver's perspective, and it sort of spins around to focusing on the race. And I just think it gets that aesthetic just so like damn right. And again, it makes for me what is something that I find utterly like boring into something that's just so incredibly exhilarating and so it like it's one of those things where it literally puts you in that car and you really feel those that rush that whatever Brad Pitt
Rush.
sort of
Rush is very good.
Rush.
dash.
Very good
And
movie.
Hmm.
he sort of waxes lyrical about
Hmm.
flying. You feel that, and I think that's all
Hmm.
thanks
It's
to
a
how
very movie star movie. It's a
it's a very
very old
Yeah,
Hollywood movie.
Hmm.
yes
it
In
is.
some of
And
the best
It
very
ways
is.
possible.
It is
intentionally
classic,
so.
man. Classic.
Hmm.
It
Yes.
is very intentional about its classicalisms and its
yeah.
whole
Mm-hmm.
like old
Yes.
versus new clash.
In a
Just
way,
like
Yeah.
in a
Maverick
way, it's
was. It's
almost
literally
like
the same.
Eastwood doing Judah number two. It's one of those old
Absolutely.
school
Hmm.
Hollywood movies you don't see.
Yes.
Okay.
Which
You
is
Oh,
don't
something
that
see.
way. Okay. I was
Amartya,
like, okay.
Yeah,
Amartya,
not in any
Amartya, just
other
I
way
was
you're
like,
worrying
no,
about
no,
it.
no.
That guy doesn't
Amartya,
move the
what
camera anywhere. What is he
Dhruv is
doing?
what
having a series of
separates
small heart attacks as this episode
while
goes along.
while Juror number two and such similar films, especially Eastwood's entire is it's very what do you call it modernist in its entire approach. This is
Hmm.
modernist in its template, but if you look at the underlying whatever, it is still very meta modern because it is
Yeah,
again very oh, this
absolutely.
is what will save cinema. It is the traditional spirit. This is
Yes.
let's go back to the movies, screw digital, screw OTT. That's been Krasinski and Cruise's entire thing, right, since the
Ethos, yeah.
past 3 4 years. So I
Mm.
No,
think
I
that's
also
why
Taken
it's
cruise
very.
only for
Adding on.
this, no?
Mm.
Ah,
no, the thing is also one thing I
He's
admire
also
like endless.
then he wouldn't have bitched about Brad Pitt in all those interviews. ये तो इसको तो आता ही नहीं है इसको तो पूरा
Ah,
VFX करके
literally.
and
करना
Because
पड़ा ये
Kosinski was
करना
just bitching about him the entire time.
क्रूज थोड़ी
No,
है
but
यार क्रूज जैसा थोड़ी है ब्रैड पिट को कहाँ कंपेयर कर
no, he was
सकते
like,
Right.
what?
आती
Like,
नहीं है वो
if it was Tom Cruise, he would have actually crashed the car.
Yeah,
Brad
but
Pitt था
he's
तो
sort
उसने
of
बोला मैं नहीं
madman. I mean,
करूँगा.
he is
I
mad
don't
in every
understand.
other
I
senses,
don't
but
understand. Matlab, I understand, but I don't think that comparison is valid unless you are making a movie as
Absolutely.
awful as War 2. क्योंकि कोई फायदा नहीं है. You
adding.
don't do that shit. You don't have to commit to realism utna. Tom Cruise
Absolutely.
can do that because Tom Cruise is insane.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
No, but one thing about what I love or what I find most iconic about Kaczynski's film is half films are half the fandom of them is just because the films look damn good. Like if you look at
Yeah,
the
it
sort of
looks damn
the
good.
like you look at something like Tron Legacy,
Legacy,
no?
legacy,
Legacy.
Yes,
legacy.
Legacy.
that film is known for like 90% of the population just because like everybody remembers those glowing red and white lights and
Uh,
that
I I
futuristic
object. I object. I remember that
I
movie
also.
because of Daft Punk score.
Yes.
that is
That's it.
also there.
Daft Punk.
Yes.
Literally.
That even something like Oblivion, which sort of commits to
Now,
this,
Oblivion
like
have
again,
doesn't that have like that steely what is
Yes,
that
yes,
it's
called?
not
yes.
yeah, yeah,
Industrial
orbity.
aesthetic almost.
It's
industrial
but it's very
Yeah.
like
It is
video
industry
gamey
punk.
in like a
foliage
Mm.
yeah,
It is
foliage.
punk.
yeah
Yeah, but it
Foliage.
also has this like very video gamey feel to it,
Yes,
which
yes,
is
yes.
actually quite immersive. Like all said and
Sure.
done.
Yes.
Like one thing I find very funny about that movie is that it probes on a extremely deeply existential philosophical question, and then it chooses to do absolutely nothing about it just because rule of
Who
cool. Like
cares,
this shit is
man? Who
too
cares?
Who
What
exact.
cares?
existential question?
I mean, you can talk about free will determinism, you can ask about
Oh, okay,
personal growth, you
okay.
can talk
In
about
F1
memory,
the
you have
movie,
like,
no, they don't
No,
care.
no,
not
It's
no.
F1,
So
just
the movie
Oblivion,
Oblivion.
Oblivion,
Kozinski
Oblivion. He's
ka
talking about
Oblivion,
Oblivion.
Kozinski ka
Oblivion.
oh,
Oblivion is
Oblivion.
basically
Okay, okay.
There's
Kozinski
like
ka
a
Oblivion is basically diluted Blade Runner. Okay,
I could
diluted
write
That's
Blade
like
Runner.
at least
most
four.
heady
Most
sci-fi, I
sci-fi.
think.
I could write like at least four research papers based on the stuff that happens in Oblivion.
No,
Kaczynski
sir,
said, "Who
please don't.
cares?"
Move on.
But
Move
Oblivion is
on.
good movie, man.
उतना importance नहीं
Adding
देने
on to Claudio Miranda. I mean,
का.
Claudio
The same
Miranda's
pick?
previous work, one of. No. I'm just adding on it. I mean,
Sure, okay.
they just modified a F2 car
Hmm.
into an F1 car just to cut the budgets, and they made the Sony supplied eight
Eight cameras, yeah.
eight
Yeah.
cameras for around 16K quality,
Hmm.
because for GoPro, if you're using a GoPro, means the zoom is so bad. Actually,
Hmm.
if you take the closer image, it will be pixelated. So that's
Hmm.
why they're not gone for GoPros. Instead,
Hmm.
they are gone for Sony's this Venice camera, which is a minimized version of the Venice sensor.
Hmm.
That
You can
projects the
disassemble the
images.
camera. You can
Yeah,
disassemble the camera
yes.
basically. The camera and the lens.
The
Basically, you
camera and
can.
lens, and
Yeah.
now they made mini versions of Sony Venice 16K, and
Hmm.
they also they also placed the recording unit at the bonnet of the F1 car, which doesn't have anything. So it was pretty much easy for them to extract the sequences in the production itself. And
Hmm.
of course, even the first sequence, the opening sequence with the F1 title sequence, they used a helicopter actually. So people are thinking that it's shot with drones. No,
Hmm.
it was shot with helicopter actually, because for an IMAX quality, Sony Venice
Hmm.
camera, if you're shooting it with a drone, means drone cameras. Again, drone cameras and GoPro are the same. They don't offer you a great depth of
Depth
field,
of
depth
field.
of field,
Hmm.
Yeah.
depth of
Hmm.
field. Depth of field. Here, it gives you a great depth of field. So only they are using helicopters to
Sure.
shoot the aerial sequences, of
Hmm.
course. So that's
Yeah.
why F1 is F1 cinematography is technical marvel. So that's why you can't.
Hmm.
I mean, it requires such an ingenious engineering into it. I
Hmm.
was like so into these cameras a lot
Didn't
when
they
this film
do like
came. So.
a huge feature on it, right? I think
Yeah, they made a
Yeah.
breakdown. Just check this out. There's this
link it to
one. So
we'll link it in the description only. I
yeah,
think it's
that's
best.
Yeah.
that's
You know, I
that.
have realized, I've realized that when you are doing some sort of this ingenious engineering and all that stuff, the technical marveling and all that stuff, it
Hmm.
helps if your narrative is simple as fuck. It
Yes,
Yeah,
really
but
helps.
yeah.
Absolutely.
definitely agree,
Hmm.
agree,
Hmm.
100% agree. And
Yeah.
Apple's iPhone sensors they used for
Hmm.
some of the sequences they shot.
Hmm.
So people are thinking that they shot with iPhone. No, iPhone sensors were used in it. iPhone camera sensors were used in it.
Hmm.
So that I wanted to clarify. So let's
Sure.
get on to the next pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go with yours, Adityan. You and
Yeah, my next pick actually,
Aryan.
just
No,
like
yeah.
last year, just
You and
like last
Aryan
year,
have the same
I
pick.
was like,
Hmm.
putting Dune 2 in every category. So this, I would have put F1 in every category, but I'm like, okay, let's go for variety. So
Yeah.
Atom Doral Darkapow for Sinners.
With all the things that I've seen, I ain't ever seen no demons, no ghosts, no magic. Till now.
Sure.
Um,
No, no,
Which is
it's
Aryan
definitely.
also.
It's
Yeah.
quite on the opposite side of F1 when we talk about
yes,
Hmm.
it in
I mean, it's
terms
yes,
of
still a fantastic
this is
looking
the
movie.
old
Hmm.
versus new actually. This is
yes,
the traditionalist versus
Hmm.
the,
Mm.
but yeah, no, go ahead, go ahead.
But this film
yeah.
is also goddamn.
Wow.
Oh my
I
God.
mean,
Hmm.
I mean, this film, I didn't really expect this film to be something great, actually.
Hmm.
If talking about the cinematography, Atom Darrell Darkopow actually worked in Black Panther, and Black Panther 2, of course. She also worked in Black Panther 2 for the IMAX cinematography.
Hmm.
And she's in this film, they opted for IMAX 70 which was manufactured by the 65 the 70 65 was manufactured by
Hmm.
Kodak Ektachrome. Ektachrome actually. So it was special reel manufactured for this film alone, and and they took a Ultra Panavision 70, which is 2.76 to 1. So that's the reason why they took this. That's the reason why they took these two cameras, because if you take the 1930s Mississippi, those archive footages where this film takes place, those footages have this emphasis on the it was shot in 35 cameras at that time. So there's a the field the there is a wide emphasis on the landscapes and also the details of the people there.
Yep.
So to mimic that archival footage,
Sure.
they took this approach of shooting it in a IMAX 70 camera and ultra Panavision camera. Mostly, what people will do is, if they're shooting in IMAX, means they'll use a ordinary conventional digital camera to just digital intermediate it. But
Yeah.
what here they did is, instead of doing that, they've gone for two similar vision cameras, two similar film cameras, so that the transition to the
Transition
aspect
doesn't
ratio
look good. Yeah.
The
transition
aspect ratio doesn't break off.
doesn't look bad. At the same time, there's no distortion in it, because if you take your mobile phone and you face your front camera lies about your face because it's distorted.
Yes.
But in the back camera is the original face. That's why people use wide lenses for this. Wide lenses for uh, shooting without distortions. And this film camera, this IMAX 65 offers that no distortion advantage to shoot
Yep.
this. That's why there is in every shot of the film there is emphasis on the landscape,
Space.
at the same time on the character also.
Sure.
That's why the film looks crisp with the background. At the same time, there is a detailed,
Graininess.
look into the character too. So that's why this choice of filmmaking transports you to the world. At the same time, it's so it transports into the world of 1930s Mississippi. At the same time, it offers the immersiveness. It
Yeah.
offers the
And it
immersiveness
also
required for this
distinguishes
narrative.
between, especially for the genre that Sinners comes from, it also distinguishes and demarcates the line between shadows and lighted areas, right? Because
Yes.
That's a huge
especially
part,
like,
right?
oh my God, like
Yeah.
watching like this on 70 film, it's like you get the difference how shooting night sequences on digital looks like versus how it is on film.
Sure.
Yes.
I'm not even kidding. Halfway through the movie, I was actually like, the only time I zoned out while watching the movie from its world is I was actually afraid and I was paranoid for what might be going back there in the projection room. I was afraid that, oh my God, please don't melt down. That's how great the entire film looks, especially when that which will come later on in this discussion, when the scene comes on. I
The
was
scene,
like,
everyone knows the scene of Sinners.
The
I
scene.
think.
Surreal,
Yeah.
It is
isn't
the
it?
scene.
I
Yeah.
was
Surreal
like, oh
montage.
my God, like, and the way it projects off that giant projector, this is why it is unbeatable.
I love
How
that
film.
scene. I have to say, there's
Hmm.
one thing I don't like about it, which is the narration coming back. Because I'm like, I
Oh
got the
yeah, yeah.
point
I
There's
love
a lot of those stupid
entirely.
recalls.
Aryan had the privilege, man. Bro had the
I
privilege
know, I
to
know. I mean,
witness it
that's
in
the
the 70
perks of being in
Damn,
New York are
damn.
one of those perks.
I'm so glad, and I'm like, this is how everyone should be watching these kind of films, and
Yeah,
it's a different thing. I
but again, that brings back the accessibility factor,
But
no?
it works.
Because
But I mean, again,
it
it
works, it
works
works, which is
without
why this
it
even
film
when
also.
also works. Yeah, which is
And
why this film also works.
special mention to the camera
exactly.
operators who operated the IMAX cameras for this film, because they
Hmm.
deserve every credit for this film, especially the surreal montage, because it was so
It's
hard
a
to
long
recreate
take, right?
every moment. Long take,
Yeah.
long take. At the
Yeah,
same
that
time, the
middle
face
section. Yeah.
distortion. So for the
Exactly.
distortion, if you are moving the camera means there will be certain distortions in your camera. So you should be precise in your movement. So that's how camera operators were so trained in this film. So I don't I don't
Especially
know the
those
names.
heavy cameras, which is
Yeah.
Yes,
like they're
No, so this
massive.
yes.
is
No
Ryan
wonder,
Coogler part
no
of the.
wonder, no wonder
Sorry, go ahead.
Coogler took inspiration from Nolan. No
I was
wonder.
about to
Yes.
say, is Ryan Coogler
Mm.
part of the Nolan gang? Like
Yes, yes,
that deep?
Yes,
Okay,
hundred
yes,
okay,
yes,
percent.
okay.
yes.
Clearly, clearly.
Yes, yes. He
Okay,
clearly said in his interviews.
okay, okay,
The
okay.
IMAX
Got it.
also had his podcast of 45 minutes with
Mm.
Atom
Oh,
Darren,
okay.
Pro, and
Oh,
Ryan
Ryan
okay.
Coogler.
Coogler,
I did not know
which was
this,
lovely.
but
Yes, yes.
anyways, interesting. More on Sinners later because there's a lot of
Yeah,
Sinners
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Chris and me shall remain mostly quiet for that. We are the odd ones
You are
out.
not the sinner
Skeptics.
lovers.
Not the
Yes.
Sinner lovers like it a lot, like the first half a lot. So the moment you
Hmm.
guys are saying after that, I didn't like it that much,
Yeah.
but before that, I very much liked it. But anyways, that is that. Who else is left for cinematography? Amartya, go ahead. Your
Amartya.
choice.
I think my choice is the one which Aryan absolutely despises,
Oh
if I'm
yes,
not
and
So
he's
do
mistaken.
I.
opportune
We are
moment.
ready
He's
to
actually gone to the
fight.
bathroom. I think.
Yes.
No, he's back. Never
No, no,
mind.
no, no. I'm right here. I'm right here.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
okay.
Let's
So
go.
Putting
Amartya,
up the
my
best of
curtains
luck
because
trying to pronounce the
it's
guy's
black.
second name. But yes,
no,
go for
but
it.
my thing is, look, there was I had the difficult choice of taking Sinners and this, but then I decided that I want to talk about Sinners overall as a whole.
Sure, sure,
Because
got
Hmm.
it.
otherwise there is no point, because
Fair.
that movie works on almost every level. So I
Sure.
was like, if I'm going to focus entirely on cinematography, might as well focus on one movie whose cinematography I think makes a conscious point on the movie, this movie the director is trying to say,
Hmm.
which is Karan Kandhari's Sister Midnight.
आपकी शक्ल को क्या हुआ?
नहीं ढूंढ ली.
The cinematographer Napoleon Strategianakis.
Not that.
So
Sorry, I mean I
So
meant his
so
pronunciation,
I will
not the
say
name.
this. I'll say this.
Not
Late era
the.
Wes Anderson.
I wish
Late
I could
era
say the
Wes
same about
Anderson.
Hmm.
the movie. Anyway,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yes,
Late era
late
Wes
era.
Anderson.
Hmm.
Late era Wes Anderson uses his diorama infused filmmaking style to comment on rigidity of his films. To
Yep.
comment on the rigidity of his films, and also how he's trying to break his rigidity within the confines of his cinematography. The most prominent example of that was Asteroid City. I think
Yep.
even Phoenician Scheme had some aspect of it.
Sure. I mean, the wonderful story, whatever was
The
the
Wonderful
title
Story of
is.
Henry Sugar,
That's
definitely all
entirely
those three.
deconstruction.
That and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So you get the idea. Like Poison, the the story within that is
Yeah, yeah, the
entirely
four story.
deconstruction
Yeah,
work.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Strategiac is what he does. What I felt is basically he's trying to make the diorama infused cinematography, but he's using that to heighten and highlight the grime and the dirt, which is exactingly prevalent in the slums of India. There is a
Hmm.
risk that by shooting it like that, he's going to make it like poverty porn, like Slumdog Millionaire was under the hands of Danny Boyle. There is a risk while he's doing that. I think he doesn't do that. I think he heightens the claustrophobia because of it, because he's highlighting the griminess and the darkness of it all. He heightens the claustrophobia, which is clearly the thematic connection between the symbolic storytelling of patriarchal chokehold that Radhika Apte's character clearly is going through,
Yeah.
and her breaking of the patriarchal chokehold
Does
through
the
what we can
camera
only call
ever
as
let
absurd.
loose?
Yeah, through what
Does
we can
it?
only call as absurdist vampirism,
Yeah.
which is basically like mosquito biting. Like, we are still not sure whether the mosquito that bit her actually made her into a vampire, or whether she basically lost control and rebelled against
That
society, and
doesn't
that made
Mr.
matter
her
Bennett
become
is
a
a
though.
vampire.
vampire movie.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. The
I mean,
point
Adityan,
being,
it is a lot of things. It is sort of one of those you can make
It is
sense of it in the
also
way
a
you
vampire
want.
yeah, you
movie.
can make sense of it in the way you
Postmodernist.
want. Postmodernist, more or less, yeah. But I think the point being that this movie
Not
is
much.
also trying to be a deadpan movie, commenting on a lot of societal issue within the society that Kandari is trying to say. Again, the movie runs the risk of putting an outsider's gaze into essentially insider storytelling, right? Because this is a UK based film, there is a co-production, so there is a risk of an outsider gaze becoming putting in an insider perspective, and to a certain extent that risk is there, because however much the cinematography looks gorgeous, it also looks very alienating, because
I
many Indian
mean,
films are
that
not
is the
shot like
point,
this.
no?
Yeah, many Indian films are not shot like this.
Hmm.
But again, like Dhruv said, that is the point, because
Hmm.
you are ultimately also heightening the fact that what a woman goes through is alienating to a lot of people, especially what Radhika Apte is going through is alienating to a lot of people, and that alienation is heightened both by the absurdist narrative as well as the cinematography,
Hmm.
because there are sequences like in the final sequence when when the watchman is climbing up the lift, and then they are at the terrace, and then
Hmm.
they are sitting. There is an it's essentially like a dream sequence. I loathe to call it Lynchian because that is just stupid, but
Leave
I
it.
think that is the
Leave him
easiest,
alone.
because yeah, because that
Yeah,
is the
please.
easiest comparison you can make. But I think the evocation seems to be that. But also, the fact of the matter is that he is trying to evoke a lot of different genres within this. He's
I mean, the
trying to evoke
poster is Taxi
vampirism.
Driver.
Yeah,
Come on.
poster is taxi. I'm not even going into the taxi driver normativeness.
Hmm.
That's not what it is. I'm saying that he's trying to make it a goth horror. He's trying to make it a western. He's also trying to make it a half-baked samurai knockoff. Where I'm
At the
like,
end, yeah, yeah.
at the end, and I'm like, okay, like you are putting in so many swings, and there is literally like, that what you are doing is not going to be accepted into the mainstream, but you don't give a shit. And I'm like,
Hey, Defiant
I
Spirit to
respect
hai.
that.
I mean, again,
I respect that.
I'm not crazy about the film, but whatever. I mean, again, I didn't hate it as Aryan and Chris did. I
Hmm.
didn't love it.
Hmm. But
Like
again,
Amartya and Sanjeev
my
did.
connective tissue at the end of the day was through Apte's performance. And I think the
No.
camera focusing so much on her stillness, on her stiffness of her body
Just
structure.
remind me, Amartya, the camera in the film is largely static. It is very Wes
Largely
Anderson in
static.
that. No, like very
Yeah, it is very Wes
symmetry
Yeah,
oriented, sort
but
of
again, it's like
compositional.
when you are doing with Wes Anderson, the camera is static, but his characters are not static, right?
They're
His
like very
characters
deliberate,
move.
like they're moving almost like machines or marionettes, right? It's like essentially like
Yes, yes.
you
Hmm,
turn a
hmm.
switch key on and they're just like moving robotically almost.
Moving robotically, but again,
I'm doing
because it
some
is
garbage gestures which I
because
can't
it is
comment
late
on.
era, because this is like late era Wes Anderson.
Yeah,
It's like Apte's character is basically like trying to break through the marionette
yeah,
structuring
yeah.
of the Wes Anderson filmmaking style, which is also kind of like trying to break through the patriarchal shackles, and the only way she could do that was basically becoming a vampire, which I'm like,
I
okay.
I like the concept. I gave up after halftime though. I have to say, I was just like, this is
I didn't give up
too.
after halftime because I think whatever it was trying to do, it basically worked on me. It's
Haha, I
essentially trying to
understandable. Yeah,
it's essentially trying to highlight the age-old superstition of branding women as witches because
yeah,
they are trying to be different than what society entails them to
yeah,
be.
yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, I
Watch
get
the
it.
Witch, the only
What's
good
the witch
Robert
for
Eggers
that?
movie.
But
Which Robert Eggers.
yeah,
Yeah,
what's the
the
witch? But
only
again,
good Robert Eggers movie.
yeah.
Sorry, Scofield.
No, no, no.
Hater.
But again, I'm just saying, as a cinematography exercise and even as a filmmaking exercise, you can do worse than System
Oh
India, to be very
yeah,
honest
I
with
mean,
you.
I know
And
you
I
guys hate
definitely
it,
don't
but
think it is as bad as what Aryan is
I
saying.
mean, but you can
I
get
will advise
Look,
Aryan.
it is
I will advise
visually,
Aryan.
it is. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't disagree to this at all. Visually,
no, no,
it is
your
quite distinct. It
if you
brings
don't
you into the
get
world.
on its quirk wavelength, you will be like you would
That's
want
exactly
to
the
turn
point,
your
right?
head around. It is very
The
quirky.
Exactly. Yeah.
criticism is not a
Yeah.
strategy
Hmm.
anarchist's work at all. It's
Exactly.
impeccable work. I don't think
Hmm.
Exactly.
anybody has any problem with that. It's the
Hmm.
utilization of that as a filmmaking exercise.
I
The
know, I know.
And
fundamental problem is that
it
it devolves into quirk. Like, I
it
disagree with
devolves
Aman.
into quirk without ever getting into the entire escalation bandwidth because
Absolutely.
you see it all. It's not, it's played as a surprise
It's
twist by
very
the end, but
and
you
it's
can
very
see it from a
transparent. Like
mile
there's like
away.
stop motion
Exactly.
sequences. I'm like, very bad stop motion
Also,
sequences, I
one of
have to
my
add.
big
Very bad.
Not
problems
But
is
I think that
co-
may be intentional. I don't know, but I
might be.
took it as a part of the film.
I
Which
I
mean,
one?
like
stop
the
motion
film.
stop
sequences I
motion.
didn't think
Those
were very
rats or
good.
whatever,
That is both. I think
the
that is both
squirrel or
intentional as well as that is budgetary constraint just taken
Yeah,
into stride.
yeah, of course.
yeah,
I also think it's got
pigeons.
continued
Was it?
bad tokenization of trans women, which I found to be like rather
Hmm.
hackneyed and overdone, which I was
Yeah.
just like, there's no need
Like
to
the
have this here.
angelic
Like,
sort of, they are the angels.
yeah, you start off sort of, mistrusting them, but then they become these lost
I mean,
sisters
And
to
and
be
you
yes,
fair, I
yes,
mean,
yes.
understand.
to be fair to this movie, the other depiction would be the trans women masquerading as boogeyman in the jungle and attacking Ajay Devgan
Please,
in Shaitan.
please.
So,
We are
the
not
the
going there.
That
comparison,
is,
if we are
but
going
that
to
is
go there.
not the standard being set for. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
this is
that
not
doesn't
Bollywood, no?
absolve
Ah, I
this
guess so.
movie of
I'm
the
not saying it
problem that it's
absolves. I'm
not.
not saying it absolves. I'm saying I don't think that is actually. I think that is kind of sort of taking away from what it ultimately becomes like a solipsistic narrative through Apte's own eyes, where she's searching for companionship in people who are comfortable existing within the in between of the strata of
Yeah,
society.
but that eventuality doesn't just I to me doesn't justify the
I understand.
tokenization
Yeah,
that
yeah.
takes place.
Hmm.
I mean,
My
yeah.
fundamental problem is that I am allergic to
Hmm.
quirk for quirk's sake. There is
Exactly.
nothing I despise more because it feels utterly like
My point is, I don't think
pretentious
it is
and
quirk for quirk's sake.
self-important. That's a
No, but
disagreement, and
you
that's what
also
I'm saying.
liked the quirk. You laughed quite a bit, Amartya. That's the whole thing, I
Yeah,
Yes.
think, right?
that's
Yes, yes,
the
yes.
fundamental problem. Right? It's like for me, it
That's not
felt
a
like
fundamental problem that Amartya laughed a lot.
no. I'm saying the fundamental problem
No,
is
no,
Okay.
the
with the
fundamental problem is
disagreement in
me,
the
that's
film.
Okay.
me getting into the wavelength and the quirk and getting into the humor of it. That, yeah,
Okay.
that's
Exactly. So
Okay.
the quirk feels very much like, oh, I want to make a quirky film, which to
I
me,
mean, he
So I
did
does.
think the
not turn me off as
easiest
uneven.
comparison for me in terms of somewhat the themes and definitely the
Hmm.
style is the substance. It's you if
Yeah.
you get on the
Uh,
bandwidth of the movie
I
in
understand,
its
yeah.
style, then you will, which the
Yeah.
way
but
I
is
did
it that
Makes
towards
sense.
loud
I love
here?
the
that
former.
movie. Makes sense. I love that movie,
Is it
but
that
yeah.
loud here,
Me
the
too,
style?
me too.
In System Midnight?
Yes,
Is it?
No,
yes,
I
Yes,
very
don't
loud,
think
in
so.
your
I don't
very
think
face.
loud.
so. I
Okay,
don't think
fine.
so.
I guess we all
Acha.
can
Especially
agree to.
after the halfway point, it
Oh.
is like,
Sure.
oh
Okay.
my God,
It's
like
the
kill me.
longest, 110-minute movie,
Yeah,
110,
no, 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 it
120-minute movie,
is.
110-minute movie I've seen in my life. I was
This is coming from somebody
This
who
is
exhausted.
has seen a lot of
exaggeration,
bad movies,
Chris.
but
No,
Yes,
no, no,
I'm not
I
kidding.
agree.
I'm
I
In
not
your
kidding.
agree.
life?
Yeah, it's the longest
see,
110-minute movie
Chris,
I've
I
ever seen.
understand. Chris is 22. Arya and I
ये
disagree.
2 साल ही तो बड़ा है 3 साल whatever.
Arya and I
Teen, teen.
disagree. But ठीक है,
Yeah,
चलो.
but Aryan
Fine,
also
fine.
likes most things, no? Aryan को
Aryan
बहुत
likes
गहराइयाँ.
Atrangi Re. At this point, I
Come on.
shouldn't be agreeing with anything Aryan says.
That's
But
the
ठीक
kind
है.
of quirk I like, okay?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
वो
Yes,
क्वर्क
Talk,
नहीं
realistic.
है, वो
interesting.
क्रिमिनल ऑफेंस है, वो क्वर्क नहीं है.
talking about quirk as criminal offense. Let's move on to best sound slash music. Chris, do the honors
Yes.
One
again.
second. One second. I would like to interrupt by just pointing out, uh, an Indian director has just won the best direction horizontal competition section at the 82nd Venice International Film
Oh wow.
Festival. The director's name is
All together, all together.
Anuparna Roy. The film is
Oh,
Songs of
nice.
Forgotten Trees.
Oh,
She,
congratulations.
yeah,
Vetrimaran production, isn't it?
Oh,
Vetrimaran's production.
really?
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I
Anuparna
think
Roy
that was
has won.
available for reviewing. I might ask for the title.
If it is, please,
अभी
we
नहीं
want to
मिलेगा.
see, we want to
No, who
see.
Too
will take
late.
a B? It's. I mean, what best direction? What in like one of those special categories or what is it?
No. I think basically,
Like
yeah, the
best
best
newcomer
horizontal.
types.
It's competition. No, it's
Oh, it's in
competition.
the
Horizontal
different
competition.
level of a competitor or
Yeah,
whatever it is.
horizontal
Acha, all
competition
the Venice
section.
awards came out, or what?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay,
Hmm.
okay.
Anyway, whatever she's like, she has won. So
Yeah,
it's
it's a huge
basically
thing.
like it's a massive thing.
No, she has won, which
Yes.
basically
All
means it
together, all
won't
together.
release in India.
It won't release in
Let's
India.
go.
Yes. So anyway, that's it.
Yeah,
Let's continue.
Chris,
Okay.
good news. What were we
Song.
talking about? Tacky
यहाँ पे
stuff?
first choice
I am
first
about
choice या
to
second choice नहीं है. Yeah, but first versus second.
I'm about to tananana tattanana tandoori days over this goodness.
Yes.
So
Because
this doesn't have a
my
second choice, I'm guessing, right?
there is no second choice.
Oh
I
God.
almost put a second choice, but there is no second choice.
Good.
It is the soundtrack for Badass Ravi Kumar, which features 16 songs, which, as I mentioned
16.
before, 16, which
I
Himesh
should
has
point
still
this
not.
out. I
Yes.
should point this out. In the second half, Himesh Reshammiya has the bright idea
So
of
wait. I'm going to talk about this in the best scene.
Later.
We will get
No,
to
no,
that.
best scene nahi. Best scene nahi. My point being that scene should have been your choice in best editing, Chris. Because you cannot do that. You cannot.
Mastery, it is filmmaking mastery.
Okay.
Anyways,
So best music.
we
Actually, you don't need to describe it. We've listened to it again and again in this episode.
I
Please
know, but you've
don't.
listened to only one song. There are
Please.
16 tracks in this movie, which again, I'm telling you, 6 months after the film's release, Himesh still hasn't released all of them. He's
How
releasing them
sad.
incrementally.
Chris has to
Slow
deal with
And
launches.
Nadanya
Oh
soundtrack
my
because
God.
You
of
don't have
this.
to call it sad. He's like Indian version of Eminem. He's going to release a deluxe edition with side A and side B. At this point.
I think it's a banger
Yeah, I have a
album.
great
Every
transition, by the
song
way.
slaps
Anyways.
harder than the next, and it's also got very fun music videos like the one Dhruv really liked of that Barsat song where
That
you've
song
got
Yes.
is one of the
That is
better parts of
funny.
the film. It
That
is
is
funny.
funny.
That's
That is
when the
funny.
film is
It's
like best commitment to its bit, sort of.
Bit,
it's
yes.
got
To
Ramesh
its
and the lead actress
nonsensicalness. Whatever you want to say.
with
Yes.
having with them just like going 360 degrees
Sa
from like
मैं भीगा तू भीगा something like that. We are
Yes,
wet,
yes,
we are
yes,
wet,
yes,
मैं
whatever.
भी भीगा
In
तू
a
भी भीगी.
हाँ
Yes.
वही
Yes,
वही.
yes, yes.
In the there are
Anyway.
songs like no wait, there are songs like Hook Step Hook Up sequel to
Sequel to Hukkaba?
to Hookabar from Khiladi 786, another banger Himesh Reshammiya movie that I
Okay,
adore
okay.
to bits.
I think we should move on, Chris. I think we have had enough.
Anyway,
Uh,
just for transition sake. Dil ke Taj Mahal mein. Anyway, let's move on.
One last time.
One last time.
Okay.
One last time नहीं और
One
होना
last time,
बाकी
nahi,
है.
there's like so many more categories left.
Oh,
Anyways,
never
Anyway,
mind.
let's
I'll,
True, you can
I'll,
go.
no, I'll go. This is an easy choice for me and a bit of a hypocritical choice, and then we'll go. Because I've bitched and moaned throughout my quid podcasting career about no songs, no background score, no
I
nothing,
think I
and
know what
then
this is.
best sound slash music for me is Mr. Preetham for Metro in the No.
Wow.
किसी के साथ तो लाइक मतलब प्यार तो हुआ होगा राइट
पता कैसे चले ये हार्ट बीट फास्ट हो जाना नींद नहीं आना भूख ना लगना ये कैसे पता कि वो प्यार है कि गैस हो गई है
Which
Who I
is
said in the
song-
last
Great album.
episode.
He
in the
wouldn't be
last
here if
episode,
the
I said
category.
उसको गोली मारो. But
Oh,
now
yeah.
we are praising it.
He wouldn't be here if the category were called Best Original Music.
It's what originally
we
है.
wouldn't be here. Yes.
I mean, he's only copied himself in this a little bit from Metro.
Oh
to
my
Metro.
God.
I mean,
Speaking
if
of
it was
part
Anu
A,
Malik,
side
it
A
would
and
have been
side
another.
B.
That's why I was saying
The
side A,
Metro
side
and
B
the
is the
soundtrack is side A, side
side B.
Yes.
Yeah. No, anyways, this movie will surprisingly appear once more in this list, to our own surprise. But anyways, best sound slash music. Yeah, it's a musical. It's one of the.
It's a massively great album.
I'm
can't
very
deny
surprised
that.
this album's
I
not like
kind
caught
of
fire.
disagree.
Oh really?
You don't
I
like
Even
the
I
album?
kind
Oh,
of
really?
disagree.
I only like.
दिल क्या करे? दिल का क्या?
to
Sorry,
sort
दिल
of
क्या
love
करे?
the last song that comes literally
Last
at
song
the
is
very
very
end.
good. Yeah.
You don't say,
I
Chris.
don't know the name, but that also says a lot
What is
about
that
the
supposed to mean?
longevity.
Chris literally
I-
said to me that he hasn't listened to the Metro album afterwards, but has
I
has the
haven't.
gall to listen to 10 to Nadani album 10 to 15 times. I'm like, excuse me? Like, it's one of those things.
I would also
Anyways.
like to point out. That Bollywood is kind of sort of having a resurgence in terms of music. Basically, I
Yeah.
think so because
Kind of, yeah.
Metro Indino album, I like it more than Aryan. I also think the Sayara album is not bad. I genuinely don't think so.
Which
I think
I
Sayara
think it is
Aryan
brilliant.
has.
I'm sorry.
brilliant is an
Sayara,
overstatement. I'm
I'll-
sorry.
No.
Yeah.
Since we are on that, I'll just finish
Segue.
off my
Huh, no,
my
so
short
my only thing was that Metro
appreciation.
Indino is one
Mhm.
of the few films which I like after watching, while watching the film, the songs were fine. After watching it, I have
Yeah,
not
same.
stopped listening to them. So that's my thing. So it's the opposite way it's worked in. Anyways,
Hmm.
they are a huge part of the film. I think they carry the film a lot, for me at least.
They carry
Uh,
the film, मतलब वही तो film है. Film में
no, the
narrative
performances
का
are good.
है.
Performances are good.
Film में narrative का है. वही
What
तो film
Narrative तो
है.
है sir, narrative
performances?
ही narrative है. What are you saying?
वो नहीं,
Narrative थोड़ा
उसको
ज्यादा ही
नैरेटिव
हो
नहीं
गया
कहते,
है.
उसको अनुराग बासु का
Sir, that is.
इंटरस्टिशियल थॉट्स
I
बेसिकली
will
वही है.
We'll
defend
come to
Anurag
that,
Basu. I
sir.
will say that that film has as much narrative depth as a lot of these network narrative movies have, in the sense
Hmm.
of they are all sampler plate narratives. They don't. They never have
सर
like a full
सैम्पलर,
fledged sort of thing.
सर मैं भी जब एक 5 स्टार रेस्टोरेंट में जाता हूँ मुझे भी सैम्पलर प्लेट्स मिलते हैं, ठीक है.
हम्म.
सैम्पलर प्लेट्स का टेस्ट भी तो अच्छा होना
आपको नहीं
चाहिए.
अच्छा लगा
एक
ना?
का टेस्ट,
कुछ लोग को अच्छा लगा
एक का
है
टेस्ट,
टेस्ट.
एक सेकंड, एक का टेस्ट इज like some sort of an elixir, and एक का टेस्ट इज लाइक डायरिया टिंज डॉग
अमर्त्य
शिट.
का
ऐसा तो
हर
नहीं हो
चीज में
सकता
एपेटाइट
ना.
बहुत बड़ा है
हाँ.
I honestly,
to
again, I
watch good
we'll I'll
shit,
talk
bad
about it
shit,
later.
meat.
Because
I
I
agree.
surprisingly don't mind this film. Anyways, Aryan, Tanish Bakchi.
No, no. I'll Before we go to the my top pick, I'll give an honorable
Look at
mention
Chris.
to Oscar winner Ludwig Göransson. But
Oh,
again, everything's been said already about
Ludwig
the
Göransson
soundtrack
Sinners.
for
Yeah, I
Sinners,
mean, let's
about
do
Hey,
one
I
thing
was
Göransson in
that I
general.
think that's my choice.
to
I will
quicken the
also add
pace
that.
of
Yeah.
the
So
episode. We'll like for some of the
yeah,
films we've
exactly.
already discussed. We'll
We discussed, yeah.
yeah,
Just
we'll
drop
kind
names
of
and
go,
no,
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 not
no.
drop names, but like Amartya, you can start talking about Sinners a little bit also, because it's the same Ludwig
Exactly. Yeah.
Göransson, right, for
No,
you.
it's the and as I said earlier, like everything's been said about him and the movie and how music is the central the
That's again
centrally
central
the
thing here.
central theme, yeah, about
What
Sinners. I think
what do you guys
everything's
think
been said
of the
about that.
whole?
But
What do you guys think of the whole thing? Where, I mean, I saw this a little bit. I didn't read much into it, but the whole idea that a Swedish composer is giving music to a film about this sort of music, and
blues.
which is very specific to African culture. Like, again,
I can
I've
tell you
not read
this.
into
Uh,
it, but I'm just
I can tell
asking
see,
you
you
guys.
this. I
see.
can tell you this.
Uh,
The central theme of this movie is music, which is one of the primary reasons many people in India don't like this movie, because they don't give a rat's
Really?
Hmm.
ass about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the point
That's
being,
why it didn't play out
yeah,
very well.
yeah, because they were expecting a traditional horror movie, and they basically said, "Yeah, vampirism kya hai, bakwas hai." So that's
Hmm.
what the
Oh,
majority of the reaction has been about this. The point being that this movie is not only about black culture and black culture ka
oh
music.
yeah,
This
yeah,
movie is also about cultural assimilation,
yeah. Yeah.
and
yes.
the fact that Ludwig
It
Göransson's
is
score
about
is,
that mainly. I feel
it is
like the
basically
main thing.
about that.
Huh.
Yeah, it is basically about that. And the main thing is ki the music, if you look at it, it is like cross-referencing a lot of different subcultures within the music that it is exploring. It is exploring reggae, it is
Yep.
exploring
Yes.
Irish music,
Irish music.
which the vampires are singing, basically. Because
Yes.
Hmm.
again, and through the music, the
Folk
exposition
music
is
as
also
well.
going. Yeah, through the
Yeah.
music, the exposition is also going, because
And
those Irish music, that is basically the vampires are coming as settlers into this land, and they are
yes.
Hmm.
trying to take over, right?
Who
And
are themselves
yes,
subject
Battle
to
of the Oppressed.
colonialism.
Yeah,
Battle of
yeah.
Battle
the
of the
oppressed.
Oppressed. Yeah, which is
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
a
Hmm.
little
basically.
Which
parasite
is shown in
also.
Vinland Saga.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
So my point being that Ludwig Göransson's score, if the score wasn't as variety filled, or if the score wasn't the
Yes.
central tenet of the movie won't work at all.
Nice, Amartya. Nice.
Mm.
Nice.
Can't believe I have to reference that movie.
Well,
But
you
anyway,
did. I mean, it's not, no,
but
we
again,
didn't force you.
yeah,
Yeah, by
again,
the way, that movie has a great score. Just saying.
that movie also has a great score. And
Yeah.
I think the point of the matter ki a Swedish composer trying to give music for an African American African
Experience.
Hmm.
experience.
Hmm.
I think that kind of sort of serves as a counter,
Sure,
because
sure. I mean,
so
again,
far,
this is what
because culture.
I have read the headlines. I'm not blaming anyone for liking anything.
And there's literally
Cautionary
that
warning.
montage in the film which goes out to show the universality of
Hmm.
how it's
The
penetrated
the
down, not
sequence,
just
you
the
mean?
American. it's the third sequence of how it's
A
penetrating
real
down
waters.
not just the Americana,
It's
the
it's
present or the
breaking
past
through it's breaking through both the
boundaries.
past, present, and the future, basically, because
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And
Yes.
cultures
And
within that.
Cultures, yeah, yeah.
yes,
So yeah. So
yeah,
I think that
and
hmm,
while this movie is heavily American, like it is
Yeah.
almost like obtusingly American,
hmm,
because this is about music. I truly believe that there is a universality to that, because
yeah.
music and food are the two things that connects and both defines and connects a culture. A
Hmm,
yes.
sentiment that another movie also shares, not with music but with food, and a movie that is still unreleased to this day, and that is Divakar Banerjee's Tees.
hmm,
Mm.
Which is why, I genuinely believe that
hmm,
movies like this, which basically highlights the intricacies of a culture and through that allows humanity to experience those intricacies, are movies that should be explored and should be experienced.
I mean, this
And I
was
feel
Yes.
explored and
this
experienced, which is
was,
one of the good positives of this year, I think, is that
yes,
Sinners was a
yeah.
huge success. Like, again, it doesn't matter if Chris or me weren't, like, don't love it, but the fact that it is there,
Yes, I agree.
a huge
and
I
thing.
it's a
agree. I
historical
agree.
exploration
Uh,
also, because it is exploring not just the proliferation of African American culture,
Mm.
it is also exploring how Asian American culture
yes.
existed side by side with the African
I
American
mean, it is
culture.
a lot of the
They actually
oppressed.
there was actually, a city
Yes, yes,
there was black population, and there was white population down there, and Chinese population was there in that Mississippi, that city where
Clarksdale,
Clarksville, where
Clarksdale,
he
yeah.
purchases the things. So
Hmm.
these Chinese people were the ones who were, amicable with the blacks there. So it was like these intricate details make this film so rich in
That's,
history. And
yeah.
as Amartya pointed out about the assimilation of cultures a lot, and
Mm.
it talks about the vampirism in
Vampirism is
artistic
also
expression.
like,
Yes,
vampirism is
yes.
It's
assimilation.
vampirism both thematically and genre wise.
There is this, common narrative among the American whites that rap is easy, but
Mm.
no, it's actually a narrative. These whites make it seem like, no, these blacks are not they are not the geniuses. They are not the people who are meant to make music. So that's why the
Whites are saying rap is easy.
easy
Nice.
is it's like, I mean, I'm seeing some narratives being pushed out. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
if you are someone who's into rap, many people say rap is easy. No, it's not at all.
I
So
mean,
people don't
nothing
understand
creative
what's
and nothing good is easy.
nah.
By the way.
Hmm.
Yes,
Just like
it's
you're also
it's not
broader
easy.
thing.
So that's a vampirism, because rap is hard. Rap has a great cultural identity to it. Without understanding it, people are reducing it to something like,
Sure.
a form of sleaze, a form of, so kind of like
I mean,
a cool
lowering
drink.
They are
achievements,
not. They
lowering.
are
Yeah.
now reducing. Rap is now redux to certain extent that it is now
Yes.
become pop art,
Yes,
Yeah.
basically.
pop art. Yes, I wanted to say that word. I want to say that.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you, thank you. So that's that vampirism. You can also see how I could see a pattern in this music with so Ludwig Göransson and Santosh Narayanan too. With this,
Yes,
both
yes,
of
yes.
them create soundscapes. They're
Hmm.
not scores. They are soundscapes. Literally soundscapes where silences play a major role. Which
Hmm.
is in Karnan. In Karnan, people might argue that again, Sinner again, just like Ludwig, Santosh is not a trained musician.
Hmm.
He uses different sounds, like, these steel plate sounds and raw sounds to make this soundscape of Karnan movie, that city, that village where
Hmm.
Dhanush lives and everything. That's a great soundscape you have in that film.
Hmm.
Similarly, in that kind of push I had with Sinners,
Sure.
that's something, that soundscape he develops for
Yeah.
this is so ingenious.
I
And
mean,
there's 1930, they even use the 1932 Cyclops done up respirator, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
That's
mean,
one of the
it's
most rare piece of guitars you
he's
get in.
using whatever cultural capital. I mean, I think
Yes.
worthily so used
Hmm.
for like
Ah,
And
Black
not just
Panther, and
cultural
then
capital, it's the fact that cultural capital, it's the fact that he has struck a deal with Warner Brothers that after a
oh
couple
yeah,
of years, the rights of the movie will revert
it's a
back to
huge
him.
thing. Hmm.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a
Good
huge
for
win.
him.
See, yes. So she is actually in a meta way also is defeating
He
the
is
vampirism.
basically
It's
Of
like
destroying
course, yeah,
cultural
yeah,
assimilation by taking the
cultural
rights back.
yeah.
appropriation. Also, yeah, there was a commentary that came during La La Land's. I mean,
Oh
I don't know why
God,
I'm taking this.
best not to
That
mention
jazz is
that, Adityan.
the
Someone
jazz
else
is
will.
jazz. They are appropriating jazz, but the jazz, blues, all belong to the blacks. It's
Hmm.
all about their pain, and it doesn't need to be reduced to pop art. Now it's being
See,
reduced to it. So
To
that's the
white
the
thing.
art
That's
the
suffering.
jazz music
Oh,
of the jazz music of it all was always the thing, right? Like
yes,
Elvis, the entire musical oeuvre of Elvis Presley was basically taken from the blacks because he had been the one who lived among them, and he is the one who took inspiration from them. Fucking Baz Luhrmann's movie basically shows that in the beginning, and
yes,
that's not even a
oh
question.
God,
That's
you still
history.
remember
yes,
this? You still remember
yes,
Baz
yes,
Luhrmann's
I mean, it's
yes,
hard to
extravaganza?
yes,
forget. It's a
Bollywood
yes, bro.
nightmarish
Bollywood
Yes, yes,
experience.
extravaganza.
yes, Amartya. Yes.
It's
I
a
mean,
nightmarish
this.
experience, that movie, but it's hard to forget. And
Yes,
then
nine.
then the utter nightmare movie, is what Adityan talked about, and that is La La Land. That is the complete opposite of what Sinners is, because that is
Yes,
exactly what cultural
That is
culture
assimilation.
not the
appropriate.
opposite of Sinners,
Yeah,
Amartya.
that is
The
Not
exactly
opposite
what
of
I mean,
cultural
in a
Sinners
assimilation
musical
looks
aspect.
like.
is my pick.
That is what cultural assimilation looks like. A
My
white
Yes,
guy
God.
talking about how jazz works. That is
yes,
exactly what cultural assimilation is.
yes,
Just putting it
yes.
Let's
out there.
Without knowing,
let's
they
Aryan,
are
I
come
reducing.
back to
apologize.
the
Yes,
So that's
Aryan.
how reductive the
Reductive
music
perspective, yes.
and Sinners is a reminder to everyone that in a more mainstream way, masala way, I would say that it's the music is not reductive, it's not pop art, it's as a legacy to it. And
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
even they used the I mean that Miles Catton's
Oh
older
yeah.
version. I mean I don't remember the guy's name. He's a professional blues singer, man.
Mm.
Yeah.
He's a legend in
You got
himself.
a great
You
voice.
take
Mm.
Yeah.
yes. He's a
Yeah.
great voice, man. So I will live like it's a
No, I mean,
last time. So that song
I
was
think the
like
guy's
yeah.
name is Buddy Ray, if I'm not
so yeah,
mistaken.
I
buddy.
think I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it's I mean specificity is the big thing, right? With Sinners, like it's
Yes,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
that.
whole.
I mean, it's like this is
But thank you to Adityan. You basically gave me fuel, like another ammunition for my hatred for La La Land. Literally.
Okay, okay,
yes,
Amartya.
yes.
Uh,
And also one of my friends who's into this, black culture, black
hmm.
counterculture. He said that to watch this series called Atlanta. It
Oh, you
reminds
haven't seen Atlanta?
I
Oh,
I
haven't seen Atlanta? You need to see Atlanta. Yeah, yeah,
That is Lynchian, from whatever I know.
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
he
Hmm.
said that this reminded me of Atlanta a lot, which
Hmm.
I think you people should watch it. He said
Donald
so.
Yeah.
Glover, Donald Glover essentially doing exploration of his culture through
Baltimore.
surrealist. Yeah. No, no, yeah,
Yeah,
basically, yeah. Atlanta,
Hmm.
Baltimore,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Sinners is like sinners made me understand the patterns that every region has with this mythology and music. Like for
Yeah.
example, with as with the first epilogue, they say Aztecs had this, demons,
Hmm.
Yes.
they were chasing demons with this, and in
Hmm.
this film also you have this it summons spirits. So actually, that's why it also makes the connection with this Christianity, Catholicism, and why Catholicism was against these. There's also this. If you have heard this something called devil card, you should
Yes.
not play that card. Actually,
Okay.
it's like these kind of things. It's not that they don't like they don't it's not like it's a superstition that people should not do this, should not do that. No, art is all about breaking away from the shackles. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's how this also makes a commentary on how Catholicism tries to oppress and make them too
I mean, it's
slave, made them to slave.
different forms of
Mm.
assimilation in some ways, right?
I even got reminded me of Rudra Vinay myth in our Hindu mythology too, to some extent. And my pick also music is
Mm-hmm.
K-pop Demon Hunters, which has this Korean connection.
Yes. Yes.
The world will know you as pop stars. But you will be much more than that. You will be hunters.
Which has this, they connect this Korean mythology with the Korean mythology with how they used to chase away these demons spirits, and how that's literally called as good shaman in Korean practices, which is like they use this long clothes. They buy these long clothes, and they perform dances with chants, and used to while away the spirits, the evil spirits down. It's called shamanism. So that using that as the base, the K-pop Demon Hunters made this, impeccable and impeccable, glossy, glamorous, at the same time something adventurous of a musical film, which I love so much of, which I love so much, which it connects again. It connects the past,
Same.
present, future of the K-pop. In that one montage itself, it covers the three generations of K-pop, and how the K-pop now has evolved into.
Sorry,
Look at
Adityan, I know
evolved
you're on
into
the
it.
flow, but Chris is making an expression which I have to highlight.
Yes,
No,
because Chris
I
is not a fan.
Chris is
yeah,
making the
I mean,
gun.
Yes.
I spent a good 5 years of my life almost entirely dedicated to K-pop and Korean culture, and despite all of that, which makes me
I'm
probably
so
the prime
sorry.
audience. Yeah, I mean, I don't regret it. I had a great time. But despite that making me probably the most ideal audience for this movie, I just could not. The cringe, my God,
The
the
cringe
cringe.
about
What a
It's
butcher.
like
It's a
it's
बच्चे का movie
it's a
basically.
बच्चे
No,
का
तो
movie.
बच्चे
I
का
It's
मूवी तो
very
disagree.
much a
इसमें cringe
बच्चे
क्या है?
का movie.
हाँ?
Cringe, sir. The oh God, it's
Speaking as the youngest man
Yeah.
on the planet.
yes. Despite that,
But I
or
feel
Oh
maybe
isn't
boy.
because
isn't
of
isn't that the problem, that you find all this the cringiest because you're most in touch with like the youth?
yes, in a sense,
Yeah.
Sir,
like
by
no,
that
not
token, I
youth.
should
No,
find everything the most cringiest at this point.
No,
See,
like the idea that
no.
let me.
I know the pulse of the online, like that's why Chris is more bothered, I think, like
Yeah.
about online stuff than maybe we are a little bit, right? You know, it's one of those things.
Hmm.
No, I think for me,
Just
K-pop Demon
asking.
Hunters is a very fascinating movie just
Okay.
because I got into K-pop about in 2018 when it had its sort of one of its relatively big peaks.
What's
And
that song which I constantly heard when I was in
BTS.
no, the big one, which I was in Singapore at that time. Yeah, I was
Gangnam
just like,
Style.
oh
Gangnam
God.
that is
Sir,
Yeah,
वो
unbearable
Hitesh.
sir
good.
वो big नहीं है वो
Listen, to me,
वो
I could
कुछ
only hear Gangnam Style when I was studying. Okay, so for me that is big.
Okay.
Boomerang
Gangnam
kid.
Style is one thing. I'm talking about the 2018 was at the peak of BTS's career, and that's
yeah
when I
Okay.
Yes.
sort
BTS
of got
began
into
BTS's massive popularity is then basically
Okay.
yeah.
is around then. And I spent 5 years sort of very heavily invested in this sort of
Oh
culture and
God.
all of those things. And it sort of gave me a
So
certain
why is this cringe? I
understanding.
don't get it.
No, wait, that's what I'm telling you.
Hmm.
I don't like there is inherently cringe things about it, but that's the thing, right? Right now there is this really heavy idea of trying to, or there has always been to try to get Western audiences invested into
Okay.
K-pop. And that
Hmm.
happened in 2018, but the problem is that that language barrier was still a problem because even back then BTS made still Korean K-pop music in Korean. And
Hmm.
despite all of us saying, music transcends language, the Western audience doesn't really care. It really so for me something like
Sir,
the fact that right
let me
now.
remind you of Bong Joon-ho's dialogue in the Oscar
Yeah.
speech, okay?
Mm,
Once you get
Dialogue.
past the barrier of subtitles, there is a whole world out there. And American
absolutely.
audience being
Lyrics
the
लेके
dumb
नहीं.
fucks they are, American audiences being the dumb fucks they rejected that statement by Bong Joon-ho outright and they're still rejecting it. So क्या ही expect
Exactly.
कर रहे हो?
So for me, like right now, it's like the thing is the reason I watch the movie is just because as an academic and someone, I'm fascinated by the
It's
cultural hold that
hugely
this
popular,
movie
right?
has. And
Massive,
it's
massively
also
popular.
coincided with, for example, the popularity of a girl group called Cat's Eye, which is like a very multicultural. It's got an Indian
Yes,
member, it's got a
it's a global group.
Argentinian member. It's a global group. So this idea of globalizing K-pop essentially by
Oh,
separating the Korean roots to the point where it's essentially, for me, it is very set dressing in the movie. Like its
okay,
connection to the Korean culture is very much to add like flavor to
okay.
that
It's
movie
not
in that
rooted.
sense.
Is that the
For
correct
me, it
word?
didn't. I mean,
Okay.
sure, in a sense, but I mean, at the end of the
Some
day,
would
it's an
argue that
animated
is the
film for
only word
children.
most pop culture critics know.
Thank
That's
you.
true.
Thank you, Amartya. Thank you.
No, but the point is that
Actually,
there's also like this reduction of like children's media to children's media,
Hmm.
where the
I
sense of
disagree.
humor,
Okay.
I feel like it is very much like as someone who's grown up at
Hmm.
least to a certain extent past that, I just can't watch it because it
Okay.
I
feels like
think
it's made for
a
as
lot of
children's.
us, a lot of our reaction to these huge fandoms and anything that's subject to a
Mm,
movement or project or any piece of art that's coming out of this fandom. I think I'm really guilty of this as well because I've dissed on my friends who are into K-pop a lot for this very playfully, but I get this, it becomes cringe for every kind of fandom. I'm not
mm.
just targeting or
Yeah,
telling
yeah.
saying that about K-pop.
I would
I
like to
feel the
remind
same way
people
about
that
the Eminem fandom. I feel the same way about. Hmm.
Minecraft movie exists.
Yes,
Exactly.
Absolutely.
yes, you
And
got.
and Taylor,
Okay, so
whether you talk
that's
about
the you're
Taylor
saying
Swift or
that is the
K-pop
cringe.
or
Mm.
hell, even us cinephiles, like who say like look at Letterboxd, some of those one-line reviews for some of the best movies ever out there.
Mm.
Like any kind of fandom
Should
after
I
reaching
list
a
the
point,
names
it
out?
will.
Should I call out those people? I
No,
remember those people.
no,
I can call them
no,
out.
I
no.
think it's important, as Adityan mentioned, to separate the perception we have about these fandoms with our own prejudices and appreciate
Yes,
it
I
what
agree.
for what it is, just the way we did for F1. It is a
Yeah.
marketing tool. We have to accept it at the end of the day that it is
yes, definitely.
here to cater unabashedly to the Western audience and it has a massive audience. So
Mm.
it's not it is cringe for me. I'm saying that I'm
Mm.
guilty of that. I still say it's cringe for me. That's why I don't even care to watch it. But it's also I am also I think it's also problematic when people point out this to people who are enjoying this kind of
Listen,
art or anything,
huh? I mean, I think the
regardless of
I
regardless
I
of
think
what.
I think
reason why
regardless
K-pop
of
Demon
whatever.
Hunters, I think the reason why K-pop Demon Hunters actually got successful is because of the medium it is choosing to tell a
Yeah.
story
Yes,
of fantasy but
yes,
Yeah.
integrating
yes,
music into it.
yes. Yes, I
Absolutely.
agree, and it even it has this expensive music video kind of expensive music videos at the same time of an animation and manhwa kind of
Manhwa, yeah.
storytelling infused into it because I was reminded of solo leveling a lot of
Mm.
times in these visuals.
Now
So
that is a cringe anime.
uh,
Oh God. Okay, leave
And
it.
that's why,
No,
like,
see, no, but
in a sense,
I
I.
I read the manhwa,
Mm.
man, so I didn't
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
that.
I know. I'm just
no, no,
saying that
I
It's a
think
beautiful.
the yeah, no, absolutely. No, what I want to clarify just because again I have clarified this before, but I mean I'm putting this as a disclaimer again. Sorry, not that disclaimer. But no, but my point is, I think whoever we because we have a lot of difference in opinion. I think like amongst
Mm.
us five here itself, but also individually we like very different things sometimes, but
Mm.
like again I don't think anyone's intention here
Mm.
or whoever comes to quit is to like make anyone uncomfortable about their personal choice. I think that's the big thing. Like
Preferences. Yeah.
Yes.
the whole idea is
Absolutely.
that Chris can find something cringe and then Adityan can
No,
love
again,
Unless you
it.
like,
I want to disagree that.
unless you
Huh.
like Birth of a Nation or Triumph of the Will, in which case I'm definitely going to judge you. But other than that,
Yes.
I
ठीक है.
mean, people
सब
can
चलता
Yes.
है.
like it on a technical level, no?
No, no, I'm saying if you like it on a
Like
personal
it for
level,
the
like I agree
yeah.
with
Oh,
you. The problem है.
oh, as in हाँ.
No, and
So yeah.
तो
I
आएंगे
want
नहीं
to
ना
make
वो
it
यहाँ.
very clear.
I mean,
I want
अचानक
I
कोई
want
कहते.
I want to make it very clear that when I call it cringe, I'm not calling fandom. Like
Of course,
Oh
I
yeah.
am to certain
you
extent
are
still
part.
extremely part of that
I
fandom
yeah,
and those
exactly.
spaces.
So
I find it.
Chris is basically like that cult member who escaped from the cult. Basically, that's
I'm
what
still
he
part of it. Like I've been
No, no,
listening
he's
to
a
like
part. मैं
one of
cult
the.
member
I'm
escape ही हूँ,
still.
sir.
Huh. So the difference is I find the filmmaking cringe.
Mm.
Like I
Okay,
think it
I
is
disagree.
using that
Okay.
cringe cinema, like really
Mm,
childish route.
No.
Because like I felt like there was a time where like children's cinema
the
would
I
appeal
like
to
it. I
disagreement.
like
even an
disagreements
I
like this.
like
adult
this.
Yeah.
audience. Like, I grew up on the Disney animated classics, which is I think can appeal to an audience of any age. To me, I just don't think this like, at
Well,
least
Hmm.
for
it
me, it's
did.
very
It
subjective.
appealed to
Well,
Adityan. So, it's like, just
It
saying.
appealed to a
Very
lot of people
subjectively to
Ha
me.
clearly.
ha, I
Yeah.
understand. I
Yeah, a
understand.
lot of people.
I mean that one, the first opening sequence with how it's done song. That one was enough to say how the characters, they are multitasking, and with those references of Rumi, Mira, and Zoe, the parallels to Blackpink's members Jisoo, Lisa, and
Yeah, yeah.
Jenny. So that
Jenny.
one was that one was pretty much something for a blink kind of. I
Yeah,
love
what
those
is this rose
parallels.
erasure? That's my bigger problem.
Yes,
What language are
I
you
was
talking in?
They're the names of the members
They're
of
the
the. That's
names
why I
of the
said
members of this
I
group.
was just going to tell you that I can go off about the whole thing in like pure K-pop lingo for like half an
yes,
hour, and you'll
yes,
understand absolutely none of it from like
yes. So
concepts of Nugudum to
those
like these
What?
members and
Please don't.
erasure,
Please don't.
No, no, we are
which
moving
I'm
on
not
very
and
doing.
swiftly. But no, no,
Blackpink and Blackpink's the parallels with it, and even Blackpink's music producer Teddy Park worked in this film
But yeah,
as one of the
he was
music
very
producers.
clear.
So
Yeah.
that's why the score was
To provide context, Blackpink is a music group, Dhruv.
yes,
It's a
Blackpink,
girl group. It's a
yeah, it's a
band,
girl
girl
group.
group.
Yes,
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 thank you.
Yes.
and
Thank you for
and and
taking
even
me into
and
consideration.
and
yes.
even as references to Twice and Move, and even as a Twice band song
I would
too, which
I
was
would
so
even say
amazing.
someone like Ive, like some even the track which is the Golden reminds me very much of like I Am by Ive. So
I
there's
am,
like a
yeah, yeah,
very
yeah.
yeah by
This,
Ive, and
this
even like
had.
Saja
I
Boys, I think of something like
I
80s or
will.
Monster X
I
or
Oh God,
apologize
there's
don't
to.
and
remind
I
me.
love
Are
the
you going to
pair, and
compare
I
this to
love.
Let's
Venga Boys? Please
bring you
don't.
all to the let's bring you all to the land
yes
of
to my
music.
Wait,
next
Let's
wait, wait.
talk
That is
about
Let
PUBG.
me
let's
next where I
let me
will
just finish my point.
Yeah,
yeah
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Please
yes
go.
Please, please,
go
So,
ahead,
please,
go
please.
so
ahead.
there is a parallel between these contrasts between the Saja boys and the
Hmm.
Huntrix group. Huntrix
Hmm.
group is that they are idealists. They are too attached with the fans, and they want to spread something unique about their pain. They want to express their thoughts about mental health. But
Hmm.
Saja boys are the opposite. They are like they reduce something to this. There is something into the pop art form.
Oh, okay.
They want like fans to, they are like soul sucking to the fans.
So the
Then they want to be
narrative
like
is a bit
worship.
like that. Like
Yeah.
Sinners, you were
yeah
saying, right?
So yeah,
So,
yeah
yeah, exactly. So there's a parallel between Sin and the Saja boys are like they are too the they are shielding their their toxic masculinity in some of their ways, in some of the ways, and when one of the characters Genu, which is an amazing character,
hmm.
you're
meets
so cute.
Rumi only, the transition you can see in the music a lot
Okay.
with the free song. And I even loved that the lyrics in this. Everyone knows the new beat that after the BTS popularity, there is a constant emphasis on mental health in K-pop
Yeah,
lyrics. So
Okay.
here also you can see the emphasis with the lyrics in mental health, and how generational trauma can be broken down,
yeah.
not just because of self-acceptance, but something more different in this film.
Hmm.
And I love this, this is what it sounds like song. They even have this golden song interlude being mixed
Yeah.
into it, like how
In that
fans are
that
so
climax track is incredible. That I will not disagree with. The track in
just
the
like
climax.
something in Indian movies where they mix two songs in, that's just like that. I was reminded by it. So
Yeah.
the storytelling is the soundtrack. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's why
Absolutely.
I loved the film. I loved this the
Yeah.
dynamism, the
Mhm.
kinetic
So
energy
I
Yeah.
of
mean, it's
this
also
film a
funny
lot.
that the pop art song is literally called Soda Pop. I think there's
Yeah,
something
soda
really
pop.
funny
Yes, yes,
about
yes.
that as
Even
well.
even that's like, it's like drinking away the fans. They like make them ignorant, don't make them
Hmm.
connectable. So
Yeah.
that's how that lyrics were. So
Hmm.
it was something, even people might reduce it to a children's movie. No, I disagree. It's more than that. It's more than that. I would even
Good.
di- I would
I
even
like
I
it.
would even I would even I would even rewatch it in multiple times because it's
Yeah.
something did to me a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
Yeah.
Aryan, talking about mixing
Yes.
songs, actually, your
Speaking
choice.
about music pushing the story, let's bring you all to the land of music. Let's talk about Sayyara and how
Wow,
great
wow, 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 wow,
the
wow,
album of Sayyara is. So,
wow.
कृष कपूर आज के बाद ये नाम नहीं भूलना
okay, so it's been out there. A lot of people,
By the way,
including
just to
me,
clarify, I haven't seen it and
yeah,
neither has Adityan.
I won't spoil.
guy,
Lol.
it's
हाँ,
not
I mean,
हाँ
I'll be
क्योंकि
It's
स्पॉइल
very good
heartbroken if you
करना
spoil.
spoil.
क्योंकि मूवी में तो
told
मतलब
story, man.
मास्टर क्लास स्टोरी है स्पॉइल करने लायक है
It's
कुछ
No,
more
no, no.
नहीं
than
है
today
Listen,
story,
listen.
man. So
So when I say that koi any fandom after a point it gets labeled as cringe, rightfully so in a lot of cases, but it's very subjective, as I said. I have inadvertently become a part after my second rewatch. Yes, second rewatch in the hall of Sayyara of the quote unquote Chapri gang. Right. Now, the thing is, when I watched Sayyara for the first time in the hall, I was like, really? This is the
Aryan,
music that
can
everyone's
I
like.
be honest? I'm very surprised that you like this, considering a lot of people who I know and who like this sort of stuff
You are
don't like it.
surprised?
I
You are
am, yeah.
surprised?
I
I'm
am.
going
He
to
likes
start crying
everything.
before this ends.
Okay, anyways,
He
Aryan,
likes
I don't
complete.
like Metro
everything.
in the know. I don't like Bhulchuk Maaf.
So,
Fair.
Anyways, no, no, no. So the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, fairly, it's like Redux, Ashiki, whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
Redux of Star is Born template.
Rockstar.
We've been there. But
Hmm.
no, I don't like Rockstar.
it's
Oh,
Okay.
Amati, I don't
Rockstar.
like Rockstar.
It's Rockstar
It is
meets a
Rockstar,
Star
yeah.
is Born meets Kabir Singh. That's what it
Meets
Okay.
is.
Ashiki too.
Anyway. The
Hmm.
first time I watched it, I was like thoroughly like entertained, but I could not get the musical hype train,
Okay.
especially based on the and I literally watched it on the Saturday,
Hmm.
the first weekend, right after it came out. So
Hmm.
the hype was already off the charts. I watched
Still
the
playing
movie.
here.
I looked at my
Still playing
girlfriend.
here.
I looked
Yeah.
exact. It's
Huh.
playing here as well.
I
It's
mean,
playing here in
it's played in the
New York.
States.
It's still playing in New York. It's
Wow.
still playing in New York.
Okay.
And having said that, the
Hmm.
Anyway.
movie ended, and I looked at my girlfriend and I was like, the soundtrack was fine, right? It was meh. And she's like, yeah, exactly. It after a point, it sounded like it's just screaming into your ears or whatnot. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Whatever, it was still a decent film, especially
Hmm.
coming from a Bollywood, like old
Yeah,
age,
yeah,
whatever.
the demise of
It's a
Bollywood,
throwback.
post Bollywood, whatever. Yeah.
However, right before my second viewing, again with my family,
Hmm.
okay, for some reason, I heard the song somewhere, which I
Hmm.
am sure all of us have been
okay.
I
hearing
haven't,
the
but
entire
sure.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
But it's literally everywhere.
I know, I know, I know.
I
I
So,
don't live
I got
everywhere,
a
no. I
I
live
got a
only
hang
one
of it.
place.
Not only did I get a hang of it. Again, coming back to the Chapri gang, my girlfriend and I are guilty of like loudly scratching our throats and singing along those songs while driving in the middle of the
Wow.
night in that regard. Like playfully, of
Listen,
course,
this is
just
also
like
quite nice to hear, to
and
be honest, but yeah, go ahead.
exact no,
Yeah.
honestly, and I
All
was like,
pickle, all pickle.
wow,
Oh,
I'm
are you
really
recording
surprised
this,
at how
Chris?
much I'm really surprised at how much I'm liking the soundtrack of the movie.
Hmm.
I watched it in the theater the second time. I loved the soundtrack. I still
Okay.
absolutely love the soundtrack,
I'm going to say this
especially.
also. I'm going to say this
Mhm.
also. The reprise version of Sayara, which is sung by Shreya Ghoshal,
Oh, it's
is
so good,
really good.
so good,
Really
so
good.
good.
Also, the actual Barbat song is not bad.
Okay.
No, no, no. So I'll tell you. I won't just
But
so I
wait a
won't
second, you've
go.
not even taken the name of the person who gave the soundtrack, Aryan.
That's what I'm going back to that. So
Okay.
all I'm saying is that I won't pick out individual songs and
Okay.
go on length about how much and
No,
why I
we
love
don't have
them.
the time
There's
also. We are
only
already over time.
the two reasons why I think the soundtrack is really wonderful is
Okay.
because here we have, I forgot the name. Never mind.
Who are we talking about?
Bakshi, right?
Yeah,
Tanishq,
Tanish
sir.
Bagchi.
Tanish
Tanishq.
Bakchi, you have
Tanish
forgotten the
One
Bakshi.
only
moment.
music
So
composer in
One
Tanish
moment.
Bollywood.
Bagchi.
The
no, no, no,
only
no, no.
Tanish.
So
composer. और कोई नहीं है.
One
In
I
moment.
Bollywood.
no, no,
Tanish
no, no, no.
Bagchi
Okay.
isn't actually the music composer for the
Okay.
entire soundtrack.
Exactly.
He
That's
only
why.
Is
did
it
That's
a
two
why.
tracks.
number of
That's why.
people?
Yes,
So no,
he
no,
only
no.
did two
The
tracks on the
thing
film.
is, I love the soundtrack, especially for Sierra, because it encapsulates and it brings so many different kinds of composers, music directors, whatsoever on board to create this landscape. I would even say a soundscape in this Bollywood heightened world
But can I ask
where
you something, Aryan? Because
everyone gets their own.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, no, sorry. Can I ask you something? So one of the complaints, I'm voicing Chris here. Chris, you
Mhm.
can interject, and I know you're raging inside, so I'm trying to voice it with reason. Is
Yeah.
the one of the complaints I think Chris and well, Varun, we don't consider. Chris mentioned was that the whole idea that different voices for this singer character was a huge issue
Exactly.
for him. The
For me as
and
well on the first watch, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then because the whole idea that you're saying that there's a different, like a mix of soundtracks, like I'm thinking, won't that be very disruptive in some ways to like the
It's
experience?
jarring as well, which it
Hmm.
was for me kind
Okay.
of during the first watch. But
Hmm.
again, because the soundscape created
Hmm.
because of how well it integrates into the world of the movie,
Hmm.
and because there are, looking back, I was surprised myself that there are actually only five, I think five actual feature songs in the entire film.
Oh, really? Okay.
Only four or five,
Okay.
just four or
There
five.
are
There's no
five.
And
side A
because
and side B.
there are five. No, 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 no.
Okay.
When because they play out at important junctures in the movie, it
Sure.
plays on different emotional bandwidths.
Sure.
Hell, this movie even made me appreciate a Sachin Parampara song. Like that's very rare.
Okay.
I
Who is
dislike
Sachit
that
Parampara?
duo.
Yeah.
It's
Who
a
is he?
musical
Sorry.
duo.
Oh. Okay.
They're a
I
producer
despise
duo.
Okay. Okay.
producer duo, composers. I
Hmm.
despise their music.
Sure.
The fact that this made, and one last thing I want to say,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
reason why I think this soundtrack is absolutely amazing is because, without spoiling, but let's
Sir,
do
I
that.
know how it ends. It's
That's
fine. You
true.
can
So
spoil
the
That
it.
lead, the
please,
lead, there
do
has
the
been a lot of
honors.
talk about how the lead Ahan Pandey's Krish
Huh.
is looks and resembles a lot like early Sanjay Dutt, early Ranbir Kapoor, and whatsoever.
Early
There
Ranbir
have been a
Kapoor or
lot of
late Ranbir Kapoor? Like the whole animal thing.
late, early and late. He
Okay, so he's both.
starts off as late Ranbir Kapoor,
Oh,
then
that's a
dissolves and
transformation. Okay, okay, okay.
evolves. Exact. That's why I think, again, going back to that point, that's why I think it's not as jarring to everyone. Let's just say
Okay.
most of the people, hence the fandom, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think it works incredibly well over here because just like the lead over here, Ahan Pandey's Krish, who's
Yeah.
borrowing and this is a very Aditya Chopra thing, I think. I
Listen,
don't think,
Aryan, I
honestly,
have to
Mohit Suri
admit
is
that
smart enough.
you are
Hmm.
convincing me that I won't hate this film, but I have been stung by you before, so I don't know how much to trust you. Uh,
No, no, no. Honestly, true. There are a lot of Aditya Chopra connotations across this movie because I honestly
okay.
like, we know Mohit Suri is not this smart. Like in terms of the
Okay,
casting and
okay, you mean that
in
much.
terms
Okay.
of the music. No, no,
Okay.
no. I'm being very honest. I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like the music and the cast works this well because
Huh?
just the way Ahan Pandey's lead is a amalgamation and has a lot of resemblance to all these generational actors. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
the music of the film very well borrows from the 90s soundscape of Bollywood as well as the mid 2000s to
Huh?
create this wholly unique but also very nostalgic blend of new age music, which
I'm
I
sold,
think
Aryan.
is the
I'm
reason.
sold. You're getting
I
blamed
honestly think,
if
and
I
Bro
don't
is
like it.
I
doing.
think it's very calculated. I think the movie has a lot of like, who are we kidding? It's extremely flawed or whatnot.
Oh,
It's not like
listen,
one of
I
the
know
best
about flawed
Bollywood
films, which
movies
is
of
I'm
the
going to
year.
talk about one of them later. So,
But I think the
I saw
sound.
the movie, I saw Sayara, and I am like, listen, I understand. This is made for this generation. ये लोग इस जनरेशन के ऋतिक रोशन अमीषा पटेल है या इस जनरेशन के
Amisha
whatever
Patel.
the flag, कहो ना प्यारे shit.
I
And
know
then
that, but like,
and then or you can degrade them and call them this generation's Aditya Roy Kapoor and Shraddha Kapoor, even though they are far better actors than those two.
sure.
But I saw that movie and I'm like, I'm way too old for this shit, man. That is my literal
Way
reaction.
too old.
Aryan
Way
is
too old for this
Aryan has
shit.
a wonderful frozen face. He's like,
Hmm.
this is like the face he'll make if Chris starts to speak about his
Act-
problems with Sayyara. Uh,
Actually,
Uh,
I mean,
Aryan will love.
Aryan has put this, Indian pick, which is Sayara. So I just want to make a quick
Yeah, yeah,
pick now in music, which is
yeah. We'll move to
Retro
best
by
scene after
Santosh
this.
Narayan.
உண்மையான போர் வரணும்னு தான் காத்திருக்கோம் போய் சீக்கிரம் வர சொல்லு அந்த ஒருத்தன்
Retro by Santosh Narayan, which
Mm-hmm.
had some of the it's Karthik Subraj movies starring Surya, which
Mm-hmm.
had one of the best soundtracks in Tamil cinema this year.
One really interesting soundtrack, I will say.
One
Okay.
really interesting soundtrack with different kind of there is a melody in it, there is a sad song in it, there is a thumping hero worship song like the one which was something amazing of a placement in second half, which was like lovely.
Mm-hmm.
And the Messiah song, it's like that
Yes.
lyrics was something, something Hans Zimmer Junkie XL kind of
Okay.
score it had.
Nice.
And Edarkaga Marubadi, which is a sad track, and Kanima, which is a single shot sequence, which
It's a
was
single shot, one take wedding dance sequence,
wedding
which
dance
is
sequence,
fantastic.
Okay.
fantastically made. Which is
It's
something Santosh Narayan did something. In the movie, the song plays in different version, which was so amazing. So
in
that
the
that was
movie,
on.
the song is integrated with the narrative itself. The
Yes,
narrative is
yes,
happening while the
yes,
song is
Okay.
playing.
yes.
And the
Every
camera is unbroken.
Yes, every song in the film is so well placed in the film, and also retro songs like Senorita and from Johnny and Daddy Daddy Oh My Daddy. That song,
Mm-hmm.
most of the songs they place it so well, and the score is something amazing. Especially
Yep.
that there's this score called "The Smile" by Santosh Narayan
Mm.
in retro. It comes at the interval. That's one of the best scores
Yep.
in
This
in
is
Tamil cinema this year. So
like
that's
this movie.
as Aryan was talking about Sayara, so I really wanted to
No,
say,
no,
I really
that's
wanted to
fine. That's fine. Totally
retro.
okay. And
This movie,
Aryan, you
our
when you were blanked out, Chris was basically abusing you a lot.
Yes.
I
Hmm.
didn't
No,
utter
no,
a
no, no.
word.
This
I'm
movie,
going to.
I'm
Was it
going to.
like that abrupt? I don't know. My Wi-Fi just tuned out for some reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Someone
basically
working
went
outside,
off,
so
and you have again tuned out. But okay.
it's fine.
Yeah, now you're back. Uh,
I
also,
conspiracy to
Ah,
overthrow me.
yes,
wow, wow, wow.
big.
I've literally not said a word, okay?
That's
I'm
what a
like,
lie. You'll edit all that out.
I,
मार पड़ेगी तुमको. I'm telling.
See,
Okay.
he's saying it now to you also, Aryan, directly. Anyways, never mind.
Uh,
We shall move on. And I hate to say it, but maybe we could try and be a little quicker with the best scene, which probably
yeah.
is the one which can actually
Which
have a
can actually
be
learn
a
for quite a
longer
long while.
discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, best scene. We'll move on to best scene. Who should I begin with? Chris, again. We'll just begin with you all the time. Yeah.
okay. So obviously the best sequence in this film, in the film being Balanced Ravi Kumar, happens just after the
The film.
interval, I think, where
दिल के ताज महल में
No, it's not that.
No,
no, this
I'm
is
saying just
Yeah,
continue.
I know, I know.
this is where we get the iconic Tanana Tattanana Tanduri
Oh
days.
God.
Just the redux of Tanana, what is it?
Tandoori Nights.
Tandoori Nights,
What do you
Tandoori
mean,
Nights,
what
Tandoori
is this?
Nights.
You should know this by heart.
Anyways, in the middle of the film, there is a
Ah,
six
there is a middle.
song sequence. Yes. There is a six-song sequence where two scenes are going on simultaneously. One is
You
where
mean a
Himesh
six-song
Reshammiya
sequence?
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes.
Himesh Reshammiya and Sunny Leone are performing on stage for plot reasons, which is distracting a crowd for him to do like a Doom 2 diamond stealing sequence.
How dare
Later.
you? How dare you? You should name Happy New Year, not Dhoom 2. Do not put Dhoom 2 in comparison with this.
And simultaneously the love interest is being
No, you don't need to
harassed
explain
by
the
the
plot. It's
villain.
okay. No one tried to explain
Anyways,
it. Yeah.
six iconic tracks of all sorts of emotions. Like it goes from Tandoori Days to a very depressing song to like a
Hmm.
little bit of an upbeat song again to a depressing song to a party number. And it's six, like it's like must be
It's
15,
like you are
20
high.
20 sublime minutes of Himesh in all
Yeah, it
these cool
was
looking
20
jackets
minutes.
and all these cool sunglasses with his long hair
Yeah,
looking
God.
very iconic and like doing like Ajay Devgan style dance steps. It was very, very iconic. After that, way down my list
Oh, yes.
comes the next best scene of the year,
With
which
another
I
man
share
he
with
loves.
another man I love to bits, which I think I share with Aryan as one of
Ah,
the
yeah.
Yeah,
best scenes of the year, which is
definitely. Yeah.
the submarine sequence from Mission Impossible:
Mission
The
Impossible
Final
Final
Reckoning.
Reckoning.
Best,
Yes.
I
best.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
no,
IMAX,
I
best sequence.
it's just in okay. First of all, one of my favorite transitions to IMAX ever, which is when Tom
Oh,
Cruise turns
fantastic.
the
Yes.
Fantastic.
valve
Creative, creative,
inside
creative,
the pressure
creative
chamber,
transition.
which opens up to this thing. But I have this adoration. I wouldn't say for underwater sequences in particular, but a feeling of being able to capture that pressure
Claustrophobia.
of being that deep under claustrophobia, but also the immense weight of
Yes,
these. Like
yes.
I have a love for like deep sea
I
diving
have so many
documentaries and also
snarky
like
comments to
disaster
make here, which
documentaries.
I'm refraining from. But anyways,
So,
Believe me,
um,
even I am trying to restrain myself. But
go ahead,
and also I have
Ritesh.
a love for submarines in general. So the way that those two things are brought together into this almost obviously like almost wordless sequence,
Hmm.
which goes from this like deep blue into inside the Sevastopol, and then the sequence with the what is the thing called, the Podkova, in that entire moment. I just think
see, that is the feeling we all have. What is that thing called? Because
it's a display of Tom Cruise's obviously his dedication to his craft, which you also see in the
airplane
biplane
sequence,
sequence
yes.
later. But for me, I think it is a cinematic achievement for just how
Yes.
wonderfully, how exhilaratingly that feeling is captured. That's something which obviously you'll never experience, but you
You feel the
feel that
pressure.
pressure. You feel that those tons and tons and tons of water. You feel that loss of light. You feel that water turning from light blue to pitch black. And I think it's one of the few sequences where I do really like the way that it's edited, despite the film being disastrously badly edited in other sequence, like the most of its other runtime. But like I think this is what I want out of a Mission Impossible film. Even I think I like it even more than the biplane sequence. Like I think this is where the film peaks. So that
Okay.
just, and also some wonderful shots. I talked about this earlier as well, but the shot
Wonderful
of
shots of what?
Tom Cruise
Okay.
floating up and the
Floating up
camera
the
Oh,
going
that camera frame.
cartoon,
camera
Oh, the
camera
one where
turning
he's
operator.
like curdled
and
like a child. Like he's
Hmm.
like
yes,
in a
Yeah, yeah,
room.
and
that
also
one.
of him jumping off the helicopter into the water. It's my favorite shot in the film
Yeah.
to watch in IMAX. He runs off the
Yes,
helicopter and jumps into the water. So just excellent filmmaking. Like my love for
yes.
Michael
Perfect,
McQuarrie comes
perfect.
from
I think
stuff
that's
like this.
enough. Thank you, Chris. You can let's move on to Aryan. You have no idea what amount of snark I have repressed in that entire talk about MI.
I've
Anyway,
also just done it. Okay, you are not doing some noble
oh,
job.
with
Okay.
Sayara. Okay, yeah. Aryan, go ahead.
Yeah, it is this. it is the submarine
You have
scene,
one of
definitely,
that's yours.
and
You have
it
two others
remains
also.
the most the
I mean, we've
most
discussed these
tense
though, actually.
20
Yeah. Anyways,
minutes
go
I've
ahead.
spent
Hmm.
watching in a theater. Yeah, the most tense I've been during those 20 minutes in a theater hall
Hmm.
this whole year. I doubt whether it's any other moment is gonna come as
So
close.
there's lots
Then
of good
there's
movies
another
to come
moment that we
forward.
touched upon
Relax.
earlier.
Yes.
No, I'm talking about the tension, though.
Oh yeah, tension.
Mm.
Anyways, then there is definitely the musical
Yeah.
surrealism sequence from
You
Sinners,
turned
which we
very
have talked
American for a
about,
second, but okay. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and the life of Chuck.
In this moment, I am wonderful.
The
Which
first
will we
chapter
discuss
and
later.
how
Is
it
this the Tom
ends.
Hiddleston dance sequence?
No, no, no,
Yes,
no.
no. Which is
Okay.
great, which is
You
great.
you are
But I'm
you're saying the
talking about another
first
scene
act.
chapter. Yes,
Uh,
yes, yes. The
yeah,
first chapter, the end of the first chapter,
yeah,
which
yeah,
is,
yeah,
I think, also
Oh,
is when
okay.
the movie peaks
yeah.
Yes.
because it's really hard.
Hmm.
It's really difficult after that to come back at that strong of a point. But it is technically the end of the movie. But I won't spoil it for any of you who hasn't watched it. It's
Yeah,
just very unconventional. It is literally out of order chronologically,
yeah,
and it's fantastic. Let's just leave it to that. And
yeah,
it
yeah.
gave
It's
me
coming back later, so it's fine. Uh,
it's everything we've felt during the past 3 4 years. Let's just leave it to that, and it just
Hmm.
encapsulate that feeling in a singular sequence,
I
which
think
I
this is
think
Aryan
makes
voicing his personal despair more than anything else. But okay.
Okay.
Uh, Adityan, make us
Please.
cheerer, whatever, by with your choices because you are the one who has this. I've still not seen it, so I'm stupid, but I want to see it.
Yes. Okay. So, oh my turn.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Lord, this was too tough to pick, but
Yeah.
I first thought of the Superman, the black hole sequence,
Okay.
Superman the black hole sequence. But after my rewatch in the second time, I love this Lois Lane and Superman interacts the interview scene.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
The 12-minute interview scene was so amazing, and
Hmm.
the staging was something brilliant, and how he transitions into the Miss Lane, that transition he makes every time, and how every time she makes something, the sensationalized, some hashtag she says
Hmm.
something to provoke him, and he's like changes the voice, and he's like,
Hmm.
oh, hey, the recording is on. So that kind of the staging in the sequence
Yep.
with the audio device has a hook. At the same time, you are the David Carnset is also transitioning from breaking his character from Clark Kent to Superman, and of course Rachel Brosnan, who has this amazing performance
Hmm.
as Lois Lane, one of the best Lois Lanes in live actions I would ever
This
see.
I
is a
Uh,
Devin
agree.
uh,
Skolninsved,
I
Rachel
agree.
I
Rosna
mean,
handstand podcast.
mm,
to be
yes,
We love
to
these
be
two.
fair, Amy Adams had
yes.
nothing to do in
Yes,
those
yes,
films.
yes.
So
I agree. I agree. She was a damsel in distress, but she's
yeah,
there. But
I mean,
this
Zack
Lois Lane is
Snyder
not.
has committed a lot of crimes against a lot of
Uh,
people, but I will
you,
refrain from that. I know one
Lois.
Zack Snyder fan is here, so
I
yeah,
was also one, but I came out from the cult. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a part of the cult, but I definitely do not share your enthusiasm for Superman. But I agree with one thing: Brosnahan as Lois Lane is one of the pitch
Fine.
perfect castings I've seen in
Yes.
my
Hmm.
life.
Very
Yes.
Like
good.
that.
Definitely, and the way they chose to make her into this rock aesthetic for a costumes, the
Hmm.
cardigan, the purple cardigan, and those I don't know whatever this they
Mm-hmm.
call the coat, the black and white coat kind of leather
Yeah.
coat kind of thing she wears, and that one was so good, and I even loved that I loved every Lois Lane and Clark Kent interaction scenes every time.
Sure.
Even one scene particularly I loved was. The sequence where they both speak at the apartment
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Gun
as
God?
when
Gunn got
The
Gordon Sweat. Gunn got the casting for Superman and Lois Lane almost pitch perfect.
yeah,
Like they
that
got the
Jeff,
casting right.
that should have told you a long time ago, Lois. That scene was with him. With he asked help to her. So that's how great the sequence was. I mean, Superman is asking help to Lois. So that sequence was so brilliant with this dark lighting and those neon colors
Yeah.
flaring at the sky. It was like so lovely, and of course the last kissing sequence with the arc
Oh,
shot
the one
was
that's
so.
Which none of us
censored.
saw
Yes,
in the theater
We
because
never
censors.
got to
but
see
but I saw
this.
but I
How
saw
objectionable.
but I saw after the
It's
sequel
out now,
after
no
the
online, so.
OTT
It's
release,
out
OTT
Hmm.
now.
release, and I loved how she smiles when Superman just looks at her, and how he smiles when she
Hmm.
sees him. So that little these humane moments is what I crave for these kind of films. So
Sure.
I love these so much, man, so
Yep.
much. That
Okay.
easily one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah. Amartya, sorry, I have to quicken everything a little bit. But yeah, Amartya,
Mm.
go ahead. Your choice
Yeah,
is.
my choice. I kinda had two picks for this, and
Go ahead, say.
coincidentally, both of those picks are from two Tamil movies. The
Okay.
first is hilariously a movie I don't like,
Okay.
but this sequence I love, and that is Rajnikant as Deva, who is walking towards Kakkar in Coolies
Yes.
ending.
இங்க இருக்கிற 14,400 பேர்ல எனக்கு தேவை அந்த ஒரு குழி அந்த ஒத்த குழி
Okay.
Cooley's ending
Brilliant.
when he's like shifting the cigar and it's cutting back and forth from the
That's
flashback to the
great.
past, and
That's a proper
Anirudh's
mass
score is
moment.
playing.
Hmm.
Proper mass
Mhm.
moment. Like I was rewatching Coolie today just to see how bad it actually is. It is pretty bad, but that sequence I had to rewind at least once or twice because
Okay.
that feeling, like
Hmm.
when he's looking at Mahesh Manjrekar's face and he's shifting the cigar from left to right
Hmm.
before he's
Yes.
cutting back to the flashback, and that Anirudh score is playing, masterclass in how to elevate a
That
scene.
single
Hmm.
shot edited stitched
Yeah.
sequence fight scene in the
Yeah.
bus was so brilliant, man.
Yeah. So I understand. So that is one sequence, but my favorite scene, I believe, because there are a lot of scenes in this movie, but my favorite scene is a Tamil movie which I truly believe has largely been underseen.
Hmm.
It has one of my favorite Vikram performances.
Hmm.
It is Veeradhira Suran
Hmm.
part 2,
True.
and
Hmm.
it's that one take sequence.
விசாகத்துல நான் பாத்துக்கிறேன்
Like
Hmm.
jaw dropping one take sequence.
Yes.
That
Hmm.
is awesome one take sequence. Anyway, the conceit of the movie itself is fascinating to me because
Hmm.
it is essentially disregarding all the exposition. It is marketing itself as a part 2
Hmm.
to a part 1 that might never come out. Okay.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah,
Interesting.
it is essentially marketing itself as a part 2 in which
Hmm.
the sequence already starts by the time we are
Middle.
inside the movie. Like
Oh,
inciting incident has
interesting.
already begun.
Hmm.
Okay. And everything what you are following is basically like the falling of the dominoes.
Hmm.
वो एक्सपोजिशन जितना जरूरत है उतना ही डाल रहे हैं.
Okay.
ठीक है. And the culmination of this entire thing is an entire one take action sequence where it's not even a sequence, it's basically chaos.
Hmm.
Okay, and within that chaos, Vikram's character is essentially like Clint Eastwood in A Fistful of Dollars or
Yes.
Toshiro Mifune in Yojimbo. He's
Yojimbo.
manipulating both sides, and
Hmm.
he's manipulating both sides to kill each other, except all the manipulation and all the killing is happening in a one take sequence. It's
Wow.
Yes.
extraordinary.
Hmm.
Extraordinary.
How he does it. The only problem with this movie is it breaks the conceit because it suddenly inserts a flashback sequence in the middle, which is
Yes.
like
Okay.
you're breaking your own conceit. But then it
Hmm.
returns back to that one take sequence and then
Hmm.
it writes itself again.
Sure.
But again, this is one of those Tamil movies that deserves to be
Yes.
seen simply because of
Yes.
how brilliantly it uses that conceit.
Sure.
The
Like
action sequence are brilliant,
the
man.
action
Hmm.
sequence is brilliant, and Vikram, man. Like
Vikram.
I
Hmm.
understand Vikram's dedication to his craft, but this is one of those performances I see and I'm like, this guy should be the biggest star. The
Hmm.
fact that he isn't is a crime.
Yes.
Really a crime.
Same.
There's lots of
And let
world is full of them.
adding to Amartya, we should
Hmm.
credit the cinematographer Tiani Ishwar
Yes,
and
yes,
G.K.
100%. The
Prasanna, the
flames,
editors.
man, the
Hmm.
flames and the
Yes,
yellowish hue when he's walking
yes,
through those
yes.
amazing stuff.
And the one take sequence, the sound designer Vinod Tanigachalam, three
Yes.
of them did an amazing work in this
Yep.
single shot sequence. One of the best,
Yeah.
one of the best sequences of this year.
Yes.
Okay, I will quickly talk about mine, which is a film that Chris has already mentioned in Best Editing, which is Vulcanize Adora. I pronounced it
Mm.
correctly this time, I think. And it's the sequence of the film in many ways, the central sequence, which is honoring a pact, I've called it. Essentially, two friends going somewhere in the woods, deciding to do something not conventional, and doing it very not conventionally is the way I'm going to put it, because I know it's a very small movie, not many people have seen it, and but one of the most recently, at least, gut churningly tense sequences. It just is like it's very hard to forget a sequence like this, because you go from the camera focusing on two faces and, like, alternating between them as they are in like full close up, like they are deciding a huge thing. And then it like follow, as Amartya was saying, when you like when stuff is about procedure and, like, all the with the nitty gritties of that decision.
Mm.
And this is absolutely just every single thing, like the devices they are using to for the decision. I'm like, firstly, why would they use that device? It's horrible. And then, but then it's like it's maybe so specific to them that it's like they it comes so naturally to them to use that device in whatever decision they are trying to take. There's unsurety, there's nervousness, there's, everything in that sequence is just like it's very much, if you remove the ends of the film and take this as like a short film sequence, it would kind of be a perfect short film in a 10 like a 10 on 10 short film, what you would say. Yeah, it's just so well like thought out in terms of following these characters taking that decision, and then just the agonizing sort of weight of who takes that decision and who sort of takes away from it. And it just builds and builds and builds. I think it's about 10 to 15 minutes long as an entire sequence, and it just like extends, like it's a recurring theme in something like Ari Aster's Eddington with Joaquin Phoenix towards the end. But here it's so central, even more central than what it is there, to the tension of the film, that it just absolutely knocked the winds out of me. I wasn't with the film until that moment. And once that sequence hits, I was just like, oh God, like this is, I did not expect to be made this uncomfortable by this sequence. And it does it like really well. So
just
yeah,
it
it's just,
just goes on and on and on, and the uncertainty just builds, and you're like, is it gonna happen, is it not going to happen,
yeah.
how is it gonna happen? And it's like you said, it's absolutely agonizing, because
Yeah.
you are just like, because you're like, I can't tell if they're choosing to commit to it, they're not committing to it, like, because it's so striking
Yeah.
visually, the whole
It's
the
done at a beach or somewhere, and it's to do
and
with.
the devices, the inability to communicate because of the specifics of the devices, and also how that finality is revealed through a recording of the
Oh yeah, there's
sequence
that element also. I
itself.
totally forgot.
It's
Yeah.
and it's sort of, you go from extremely zoomed in to completely zoomed out and mediated to experience this as a memory or almost as a retelling. It's insane how, like, how like literally, like, um nerve-wracking it is for that entire 10 minutes. It's insanely good.
And I think people have very different opinions of the thing pre and post the 10 minutes, but that 10
Yeah.
minutes, I think everyone is unified in, oh my God, what 10 minutes or whatever 15 minutes. It's just nerve wracking. Like that's the sort of like tense filmmaking I crave for whenever I watch like a film. I'm like, who is willing to push that? Like that's horror. Like that is horror to be at least.
Especially after this, like very like neat, like almost slow ruminating of people. Ideal, I mean, not idyllic, but like them walking through the
Yeah,
woods and
it's
that
a
sequence
quiet
in the
woods.
night
Yeah.
and yeah, and the sequence in that night in the dark and
Oh
all the
God.
like,
Oh my God, I hate that
shenaniganry
line.
that happens and
Yeah.
like it's a tension builds throughout, but the
Yeah.
way that it exponentially escalates
In that
in
one
that
scene, it
like
just like it has a graph probably where it goes from here to here to here, here, and it just
incredible,
keeps on going. And it just like totally like I was like,
incredible,
wow,
incredible.
I was not surprised. I was not expecting myself to be this viscerally made uncomfortable. But anyways, that's my pick. Please watch the film. If not, someone on YouTube on some opportune day will put this scene out because it is one of
And you
those
should
scenes.
watch it.
And you should, if not the film, watch this scene because it's a bloody well directed scene. So, that's it from my for this best scene. Now we move on and we have to be very quick because I just did not expect us to take this much time for like editing and cinematography and everything. But anyways, good. I guess we'll spend less time on the categories which are popular. I guess so whatever. But we move on to best performances now. We move on to best supporting performance. This also, I think, we can wrap up fairly quickly because we
Yes.
have very similar choices except for Chris.
Yes.
Yes.
Aryan and
Uh,
Adityan, go for it. You have one and the same choice. Which is he a supporting character? Question mark.
it is pretty much a
He
question mark,
is.
but he is,
Is
he is,
he?
he is, he is.
Okay, maybe
Even
that's
though
one
the
of my one
movie
of my
is
issues
from
with the
his
film is that it's
point of
not
view.
about him because it starts as a movie about him and then it sort of forgets him a little bit.
Who are we
Uh,
talking about?
It
Miles
is about
It
his
Catton
is
legacy,
Miles
though.
as
It is
Catton
Sammy.
about
playing as Preacher
Oh,
Boy
okay, okay.
in
True. I
Sinners.
think it's much more about what the legacy you choose to create is always a function of who came before you and how you've been nurtured,
Yes.
what kind of a cultural
Yeah,
environment,
but
and what kind
isn't
of.
I just thought the movie
It's just
lost
from,
the
I
central
think.
thread of him because I was so invested in the first half. When all the shenanigans started happening, I was like, "Where's Miles Catton as Sammy?" Because I think that was my emotional anchor, and I thought he sort of
He's
just
being nurtured. That's what he's being nurtured. He's
okay.
being conditioned in this
He
hellscape
like
where all
forces
these
every
racist
force is
connotations
affecting
collide.
him, sort of like that, right?
Exactly. I think
Okay.
it's much more like a coming of age tale through his perspective. It is about him, but I don't think like I mean it is again, we'll see this at the end of the
No,
year.
no, I
There's
guess
again
but
gonna
there's
be
much more
a
of an argument to
lead
be made
fraud
that
category.
no, but
Yeah.
there's much more of an argument to be made about what's the guy's face? I always forget. Michael B. Jordan being the main character, which is fair. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
fair. Yeah.
Michael A and B Jordan. Yeah.
What? Oh
And
Nothing.
there are
God.
two of
That is a
Oh
him.
play
my
with
Side A,
God.
side A,
Side
side
A,
B.
side
Or
B,
Michael
Houseful
B.
side
A,
Michael.
Houseful B.
Bye.
इस शिप में झील भी है। अरे अभी तो इस शिप में गोल्फ क्लब, दो कब्रिस्तान और आगे टोल नाका भी आने वाला है।
Miles Catton has this, as Aryan said, it's all about how he chooses the devil instead of going for this.
Exactly, exactly.
As we already said earlier about how
Hmm.
Catholicism
Hmm.
Yeah.
affected the black people and how it made them stay oppressed.
Hmm.
How religion makes the
Yeah.
oppressed as oppressed and not going above from them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Right.
this deal with the devil or whatever we said earlier, devil's card or whatever. This is all something climbing from the oppressed ladder,
Sure.
climbing from the oppressed ladder to the ladder of equality.
Yeah.
So Miles Catton performance is not like a debut performance. He's such a brilliant actor, man. He has a great.
Fantastic.
Is
I
this
mean,
his debut or is
Great
this
yes,
a
charisma
is
as well.
this
yeah?
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
this
It is his.
is this debut? Is this debut? He was
Hmm.
one of the background singers, background vocalists for HER singer HER her.
Mm-hmm.
So he was one of the backing vocalists,
Hmm.
and he has such an amazing voice. Somebody take me that
Hmm.
sick that time he sings it. I was like totally captured to
I
the
mean, even the
narrative.
first time he sings in front of Michael
Yeah,
Jordan, whatever A or
yeah.
B, I was like, he's
Traveling.
got a really great
That
voice.
was great, man. That
Yeah.
he has great voice. That voice itself has a musicality.
Yeah.
Even in one of his live he has made in Instagram. I saw it, which
But
is
I think
he has
the
the
movie,
same voice, not
yeah,
even auto tuned.
yeah,
So
the
that's
movie,
how
but the
that
movie hinges so much on that voice, because it is
yes,
his voice which is essentially being fought over in
yes,
some ways, right? So, yeah. Any other
yes.
thoughts about the
Yeah.
performance, guys, or just we'll move on
So
then?
that's a brilliant performance. I would
Yep.
say it might win great award. He might win great
Hopefully,
accolades for this
Sinners gets
performance.
nominated a
There's
lot,
gonna
even though
be there's
it's
gonna be category fraud though. I'm pretty sure this is
you
what's
as
gonna
in.
happen. As in, he's gonna be there for supporting rather than lead.
Ah, okay,
That's why I
but I
was
mean,
like,
lead man, you can. But I guess this is much more convincing of an argument than, in my opinion, like
I
what
guess
was the
so,
Killers
but
of the
it's
Flower Moon,
it's.
man?
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
want this
Yeah.
film to be pushed in supporting category. I don't want this to be a race like Nope did. So
yeah.
I think
I
this.
just putting this
I
out.
think this earned. I'm pretty sure it earned much more than Nope did.
Yes.
Hmm.
So I
But
want this to
it's
be.
a
I
Way
horror
want this
more,
film,
performance
way
to be
so
more.
do
recognized.
not trust the Oscars.
Yeah.
I don't care
Not
whatever
anymore
films
though.
that
After
come.
last year.
I don't care whatever films that come in September,
Substance.
October, November.
Hmm.
Whatever the performances they do, they might be
Hmm.
great actors, but Miles Cadden's debut performance is
Yeah.
something to be remembered for this decade. I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah. Chris, what is to be remembered for this decade?
The performance given by one of the most iconic actresses to come out of the Bollywood film industry, and I, that being Sunny Leone for Badass Ravi Kumar. Uh,
दिल के ताजमहल में दिल के ताजमहल में anyway continue.
I'm particularly talking about again the scene that Amartya has already, or Dhruv or Amartya already mentioned.
I like the fact that
Interchangeable.
we are committing to the bit. Every time Chris is choosing badass Ravi
Listen,
Kumar.
every line is a joke, so it's fine, whatever. Go ahead.
That I am nothing if not committed to the bit. I watch disclaimer in like 1 day or 2 days. Like, okay, I have
That is
nothing but
commitment.
commitment.
Yeah.
So there's this excellent sequence in the film that takes place in this like what do you call interstellar fourth dimensional.
I have to say your and our definition of excellence is very different. Just putting it out there.
Scene where she talks to him about she might have double crossed him but she hasn't, and it's just an iconic performance, like better than I would say, like veterans like Prabhu Deva or Johnny
Did you
Lever
just call
and
Prabhu Deva a veteran
Prabhu Deva is a waiter.
I mean, I don't know.
as
I
an
haven't watched
actor?
Badass Ravi Kumar. I haven't watched Badass Ravi Kumar. But
Uh,
let me put my point that Prabhu Deva in comedy movies is a different league in Tamil cinema.
I
I
mean,
I
Chris
don't
and
know
all
why
really
why
Also,
like.
people don't.
Prabhu Deva might have been the only good part of the greatest of all time. Just putting it out there.
Yes, agree, agree,
Okay.
agree, agree,
Yes.
agree, agree. So he has the versatility. So
Yes.
continue,
so
Chris.
apart from that,
Hmm.
my second
Also, just
choice
saying, by the way,
is
just to
huh,
briefly mention, there are
yes,
two actors who I generally very much like, and they are
yes,
awful in this. Just saying, which Chris will
yes.
also agree with.
Yes, they're horrendous,
Yeah,
horrendously bad.
Sanjay Mishra and Johnny
But
Lever, right? Both
and Johnny Lever. So my
awful.
other pick is Jacques Develay for Misericordia.
Où est-ce que tu étais encore passé toute la journée?
J'étais avec le curé.
Bon, lui, ferait mieux de dire des messes plutôt que de se promener.
Which
Much
is
much lower
just
pick, of course.
much lower
Hmm.
pick, of course, who
Hmm.
plays a priest. And for me,
Mr.
it's
Slim.
just again in Dhruv, please pronounce the director's name for me.
Alain Guerradi.
In this director's films, there is this incredible capturing of queer desire, of gay desire, and its sort of play with perversion, which I find to be incredibly captivating. Like, again, to me, it's something that Luca Guadagnino tries to capture in something like Queer and does to a certain extent, but the way
Mr.
said director
Guerradi,
capture
Mr.
Mr.
G,
Godardi
Mr.
captures
AG. Just go with that.
Mr. Godardi captures it is really, really like honest and really captivating. And for me, this character is one of those incredible moments
That priest
of
character is unforgettable.
unforgettable, of
Yeah.
perversion and desire like
And
colliding against
and
each other.
sympathy, and like he's
And
he's a very weird character,
he's
like
this,
in the
the
best
thing
way
is, again,
possible.
he's like like they said, he's an incredibly sympathetic character because he's this priest in this small town who really cares about the people in it, but he's also a gay man who feels this desire for this young man who comes to that town,
Hmm.
and he knows that that desire is not going to be reciprocated, at least in the immediate, and he doesn't
Yeah.
care. He's
Yeah.
like, I will wait and I will be with you till that is reciprocated, be that never
You
be
learn or
reciprocated.
something
But
like that. Like you learn to
but
reciprocate it or something like that. Yeah.
exactly, but my desire for your desire is greater than your actual desire, whether it be or
Yeah.
not. And that to me is such a fundamentally queer
Hmm.
experience
आपको
of
एक तरफा प्यार अच्छा लगता है, मुझे पता है.
This sounds like NTR Junior's look to Hrithik Roshan in
exactly.
Janabe Ali
As
in What?
someone
Please
who's a
don't compare
connoisseur
these.
who's a connoisseur in pining over straight people, I can tell you there is very few filmmakers who are able to capture that emotion so fun, so like transcendently. And
I
for
mean,
me, this
Mr.
character hits it
Goradi
with
is
a
gay.
yeah. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. As
Hmm.
as a gay filmmaker
Hmm.
who aren't like, for me, somewhere like Stranger by the Lake sort of says that even this threat of your life transcend, is nothing in the
Sexuality
face of
is like
sexual
sexual
desire.
yeah.
and
Yeah.
and in something like The Old Dream That Moves, I think that's what the short film is called.
These are the
There
films
is
of
this,
Mr. Guerrati. All of these are available, or most of these are available to watch on the
and
Criterion channel, which maybe you should. He's one of the very good. I know we've dumped on the French quite a bit in this podcast, but he's like
They
the.
deserve
he's
it more often than
incredible.
not.
Yeah, he's
They
very good
Um,
and like he's a very good filmmaker. You'll like it,
in the
Amartya. I think you'll like this film.
I might.
It's a twisty noir in some ways.
I might. I
Yeah.
know.
uh-huh.
Yeah, in the Old Dream That Moves, he captures this
Oh
again,
yeah,
this
so good.
the inability of queer desire to be fulfilled, because the main character is attracted to someone who cannot fulfill that desire, and the people who are attracted to the main character cannot fulfill their desire because the main character doesn't desire them. So this just web of sexual frustration, but also the joy of just desiring,
Yeah.
sort of collates into Gorardi's work, which I find immensely touching, and I absolutely adore.
It's still your second favorite. Sad.
Yes, my second favorite.
Yeah.
You can't say no to Sunny Leone as your number one pick, sir.
Of course you can't. Anyways, but we will. Amartya, our choices are the same. When does that happen? Amartya is vanished when I just said that. I mean, that's so apt. Anyways, this is Ray Fiennes in 28 years later.
Don't, 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 don't look at what's in front of you. Boost, 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 moving up and down again. Men go mad with watching them. There's no discharge in the war.
Performance. I mean, Amartya, whenever he joins back, will say his words about it. But yeah, we've talked about 28 years later a fair bit, and the franchise a fair bit in another episode, and a little bit in the live stream also. But yeah, I mean that section of the film is very much my favorite section of the film, and the great things about Ray Fiennes is that he can make a seemingly stock in a both physical and emotional sense character then melt down in a matter of seconds. The idea is that he's built in the film as a Colonel Kurtz character, as a person, Colonel Kurtz from Apocalypse Now. The idea that this is a character who everyone should be intimidated by. He's almost like a mercenary. But the moment sort of Ray finds,
He's the marker of the subversion, right?
yeah, he's the marker of the
28
subject.
years later is, if
No
28 days
spoilers.
later was supposed to be the reintroduction of the zombie genre to the modern audience by
Hmm.
Danny Boyle through a subversion which is more physical. The
Danny
zombies are rage
Doyle, sir.
virus induced.
Danny Doyle, sorry.
Yeah, the zombies are rage virus induced. They are fast running and all that stuff, right?
Hmm.
This is Danny Boyle exploring that 28 years later, through 28 years later, the genre, but now he knows that the permutations of what a zombie can do has all been played out. So now he's going to play with the characterizations of the people within this dystopia. And I believe that Ray finds as the Colonel Kurt's analog, but then becoming the marker for humanity's resilience
Yeah.
and the resilience of human kindness in this world as fucked up as it
Hmm.
is like almost genius level. The fact that Alex
Hmm.
Garland can write something like this is baffling to me.
That's so
Really
rude.
baffling to. I know, but that's what it is.
It is still true. It is still very true.
He's written
Yeah.
Ex
सच कड़वा
Machina. Ex
होता
Machina
है.
is very good.
Like Ex Machina, I can understand cynicism. He's very good at cynicism, but that kindness,
There's
how
both,
he's
no. I
managing
mean,
to get that,
it's a very tricky balance. I think
yeah,
that's
it's a
pulled
very
off,
tricky balance.
and it's not just him, of course. It's I mean, we are mentioning Ray Fiennes, of course, but there's Jodie Comer and Alfie Williams. All three of them are amazing in that particular
Amazing.
sequence.
Hmm.
But yeah, Ray Fiennes has that calming voice. I thought in this the voice was the thing which was like, the moment he says there's this wonderful line actually, where he says like the what was it? The some I forgot. I'm forgetting. Chris, source this out. It's online, if you want to. But something about the dead and the living being alike, essentially, because the whole idea is that
There were so many dead, infected and non-infected alike, because they are alike.
But yeah, I mean, just it's such a he's a soothing presence in the film, which is
It's
full
so
of
ironic.
violence.
It's so ironic that the way to introduce Ray Fiennes to us in our generation is through one of the most horrifying villains in a fantasy series, that is Lord Voldemort.
Yeah.
He was one of the most
I mean,
terrifying
before that, he
villains
was
ever.
the terrifying villains in not in
Before that, he
fictional
was the
form,
most
Schindler's
terrifying
List.
villain in Schindler's List.
Yeah.
And then we see the range of this guy.
Yeah, of
Firstly in
course.
Conclave, then we see him in The Return, and a movie
Incredible
that
performance.
people should watch,
Mm.
especially because
Even
next year
even
Odysseus is
going
coming.
back
Next year
to
Odyssey
the
is coming.
Mm.
So
even going back to the bigger splash, which I just watched
yeah,
last month for
Bigger
the
Splash,
first time.
yes.
Like, oh my
Guadagnino's Bigger
God,
Splash,
He's
yes.
like
amazing.
he's
Him
such a
and Tilda
jerk,
both,
and
I think.
Him and Tilda.
yeah, Tilda is
Mm.
great.
So we
But I'm
know
surprised how you guys found any kind of emotional connection with this movie. I
I
was
think
just very
you and
detached
Chris
from it.
both are much
No,
less.
Very
I
cold on
found
it.
Mm.
emotional connection exactly and only with this character in
Oh
this
yeah, yeah,
particular
yeah. At the
sequence in
very
the
end, but
entire
again,
film.
it's the same thing for me. It's like too late in the movie. Anyways, but yeah, go on.
No,
no,
but
but I
I think.
I genuinely believe that like Ray Fiennes is one of those guys like who I think has been ignored for too long
Yeah.
as a
Mm.
I mean,
at least by award bodies.
I would
People
say
know
even
Oh
like
yeah.
how good
he's an
he is.
amazing Wes Anderson actor. I mean, Grand
Oh
Budapest
yeah,
Hotel, he's just
the Grand
like
Budapest Hotel is
prime meltingly
extraordinary
good.
in that role. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he's great even in the Roald Dahl shots. He gets the
Mm.
cadence
Mm.
of the
Also,
language.
He's a fantastic M
He's a
if you
James
don't
fantastic
Bond.
watch the return for Ray Fiennes, you should watch
Juliette
it for
Binoche.
Juliette
I know, I
Binoche.
know. I like
Oh
how obsessed
God,
you are
that
with her.
movie, man. Jeez. People
It's
again, high recommendation. Next year the Odyssey is
We have
coming. Watch The
recommended.
Return. High
You guys have
recommendation.
already recommended it. Anyways, moving on, guys. Best performance. Again, we have some similarities, so we can move through them a little quickly. Adityan, we'll start with you because
Yes.
uh,
I had one
Acha, हाँ,
choice,
you
but
put a new one today. Yeah, I saw. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm putting this new one. So Sivakarthikeyan and Vidyut Jamwal from Madrasi.
Getting into Tamil Nadu is not easy, Chirag.
Both
Oh
the
damn,
actors.
they are that good.
I mean, I added this because being something, Sivakarthikeyan started as this comedy actor and to this, boy next door. And now with after 2021, he made this transition as this from doctor. he has been experimenting with different roles, like a stoic doctor. In Maviran, he was this, a timid
Superhero,
yet a
basically.
superhero, a timid yet who it's kind of like, the Raimi Spider-Man, and Ayalan, which is again and Koi Mil Gaya ripoff, and Madrasi was yesterday only the movie was released, and I mean still people might not have watched it.
Yep.
It basically this guy has the character has this, uh, there is disorder, yes, which is Fregoli delusion, where he sees faces of his own members, died family members as others, and he helps them. So he has kind of this disorder, and using this as the using he has this disorder, and which makes him, more animalistic in his attitude. Andrew, he gets into fights no matter what to help the other people. To help others, he will get to any extreme, no matter what, with this disorder. So that's how the character was. And Sivakarthikeyan plays it to the finest, the best. He plays it. He plays it convincingly throughout in the commerce, in the masala meter. In the masala meter has this action hero. You have, and at the other side you have Vidut Jamwal, an actor who is a trained acrobat, a trained martial artist. In this film also, he's a trained syndicate kind of a guy. So he has a disciplined fight style, but this guy has, unruly fight style. So both of them in action, they just make this, something so brilliant. They both of them have this great agility towards it, and both of them are consistent in their fight style with the characters, and both of them understand the psyche a lot, especially Sivakarthikeyan as this character as Raghu played such a brilliant performance, I would say. Definitely not as Maviran, I would say, but still he gave his best in this. I mean, you would literally buy this character a lot. Something like I don't know the lead actor of the Kill movie.
The one
So
who's in the
something like,
new
yeah, yeah.
show.
Lakshay.
Lakshya,
Laksh, yeah.
Lakshya, something similar of a character. This guy has the fighting style. Everything. The film is so amazing with this fight. This is a great action film, and I would say this is one of the best
You
action
have
films of this
sold
year.
me. You have sold me. I'm watching this tomorrow.
I'm
You
not
have
I'm not
sold me.
spoiling anything, so just watch it. Especially the second half, the from the interval till the last point, it just doesn't fizzle out. The fire doesn't fizzle out. So
Hmm.
great, so best of a performance from Sivakarthikeyan as
Uh,
an action
So,
hero.
so this proves to us only one thing. Murgados wasn't wrong. Sikandar is a bad movie because of Salman Khan.
Yes.
This
How
proves
wonderful.
it.
Yes,
Yes.
definitely.
Yes.
Mr. Tubelight himself.
Yes.
Anyways, best performance. Who else? So Adityan's gone. Amartya, go ahead.
Kannada movie named Mithya
ನಾನು ಮಿಥ್ಯೆ ಅಂತ ಕರೆಯತ್ತಾ ಮುಂಬೈಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಿಥ್ಯೆ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಿದ್ರು
came out last year, came out 2 years ago. I got the chance to see it as a festival screener. It's about a young boy's coming of age tale. A young boy who loses his mother and father, and he's forced to take care of his young sister and live with his uncle and aunt. His uncle and aunt really love him, but he is unable to process his grief, and in his grief he tries to act out, and sometimes even try to harm his sister because he believes that his younger sister is taking away all the attention. It's a story that is so internal. It's dealing with a very young actor, like he's basically just a kid, but it's one of the performances of the ages.
Okay.
There is a sequence. There is nothing to spoil in this movie, quote unquote, because how can you spoil a character study? But there is a scene in this movie where he kind of sort of tries to do a deed. He kind of sort of thinks about doing the deed to his little sister and kind of sort of tries to do it only to pull back at the last second. That sequence and the fact that the kid is acting is enormous. That performance is haunting to me.
Okay.
And that
What's
performance,
what's
the
the
movie
name?
rests on this
The kids?
performance. The kid's
Nitya.
name is Atish Shetty.
Okay.
The movie's name is Mithya.
Sure.
If anybody has a chance, please watch this movie.
Where is
Prime
it
Video. It's
available?
available in Prime Video.
Prime?
Prime
Okay.
Video. I
Perfect.
can't get the performance out of my head.
Perfect.
And another performance I would just like to
Hmm.
point out, because, and I'm just pointing it out as a secondary choice because
Hmm.
this movie actually came out in 2021, but because this is
Wow.
Bengal, because this is the festival release, you get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Majority of the audience finally got to see it this year, and even then that's not a majority because a lot of people still haven't seen it. It's Once Upon a Time in Calcutta, Aditya Vikram
Oh, it
Sengupta's
released
third
this
movie.
year.
It released this year in West Bengal in limited screens. Srilekha Mitro.
প্রপার্টির উপর আমার তো অধিকার আছে
নিশ্চয়ই আছে 100 বার আছে
Hmm.
Fabulous performance. Like,
Oh, I thought you
utterly
were saying
fabulous
something about our
performance.
guest and regular collaborator, but anyways, sorry.
No, no, no,
Srilekha,
no, no.
sorry. Okay, I
No,
was
no,
like,
no,
she
no.
acted in
Srilekha
a
Mitra is an
movie.
actress.
Okay.
Srilekha Mitra is another actress.
Okay.
She is not the most conventionally good actress, okay?
Okay.
She is a much more high tempo, much more campy
Mhm.
tonality sort of an actress in the commercial space.
Hmm.
AVS uses her in such a fashion that it's almost like toned down artistic endeavor, like a performance, and it is extraordinary because she is in a way representing what is happening to Bengal post CPM's demise, and it is extraordinary,
Hmm.
utterly extraordinary.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are the two performances.
Amazing. And extraordinary is the word to describe Chris's choice. So, yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
I would like to start this off by apologizing to Mr. Himesh Reshamia for him not being my only pick in this category. But
What?
there's also another performance I wanted to talk about. But yes.
I forgot to
Himesh-
sing Dil Ke Taj Mahal mein because this is such a
Please.
shocking
Our
revelation.
record is also
At
broken.
this point, he'll come and sing it himself.
Yes.
But anyways,
Actually, yeah, it's good that you have that performance because this is maybe the first time we've only had male performances. Because I think otherwise we've actually just had female performers in
Female
this category.
So,
Abhi kaun hai PPC?
I know. I know.
But yes, Himesh's performance is basically the only reason that Bharat Ravi Kumar works as a film,
What?
despite my praising
The only
of the
reason.
craft and artistry of all these other individuals. The reason why the
Dil
film
ke
works is
Taj
because
Mahal mein, Dil ke Taj Mahal mein. Anyway, continue.
it's because it's only Himesh who can look into the camera and say, immigration se seedha tera cremation ho jayega, and all the
Oh.
other dialogues which I have
Hey,
listed
listen.
in the
For all my grievances against this rubbish, he is quite decent in it. I have to
He
admit.
No, he is. He is the reason why this movie works. Otherwise, this movie
It
won't
doesn't
work
work,
at
but
all.
okay.
Yeah.
He is an icon in this movie, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love this. I love this character. I mean, it comes from another iconic movie which has the iconic song "Ice Cream Khaungi, Kashmir Jaungi." So
I'm just so glad my immigration officer on landing here didn't say that dialogue back.
Immigration soon, Aryan, soon.
that, and you know, just what is it? जिस तूफानों में तुम्हारे झोपड़े उड़ जाते हैं, उसी में हम अपने कपड़े सुखाया करते हैं.
Listen,
And
listen.
so
The
on and
dialogue
so
writer
on.
deserves praise.
Grace.
Incredible work.
Yeah.
Apart from that incredible performance that I'm sad that is not my only favorite performance right now, way down the list is an actress that I adore to bits, and I'm very annoyed people are like, particularly the fandom of Dhruv's favorite actor Ariana Grande are hating on
Oh, wow.
because
Why?
she had auditioned for Wicked and she didn't get cast, and she talked
She
about
would
it.
be very good in
Ariana,
that role.
she would have been the perfect Linda. I will die
I mean,
on
I
that hill.
like
She's an
Ariana
incredible
Grande in that role, but anyways.
Sure, you and your Ananya Pandey enthusiasm.
That character is a bimbo.
It's not. She's not supposed to be a bimbo. That's the problem. If you know Wicked,
Chris,
she's not supposed to.
moving
Anyways,
on.
it is Amanda Seyfried and Adam Egoyan's Seven Veils.
I've been asked to make this personal, so I will.
Which is just a
Oh damn!
again another.
I forgot I had
absolutely
seen that movie.
You saw it?
nerve-wracking movie
Yeah.
that
Oh, she's really good.
Yeah.
The entire film just knows how to get under your skin, and I think it's also because of it's such a unique setting. I think again, I'm forgetting the name of the play that they're adapting, but it's this
Oh yeah,
incredible
same.
incredible
Salome, I think.
production.
Salome.
Salome,
Salome.
Salome.
Salome. Yeah, Salome.
Salome,
Yeah.
which is this very contemporary production which uses very contemporary music and art forms and costuming to tell
Hmm.
this ancient sort of or early old story. But Amanda Seyfried so plays a character who is plagued by her relationship with these absent men in her life, at least
Hmm.
contemporaneously, which is her father who did it is implied though not shown that might have exploited her, sexually exploited her, or at least had this very difficult relationship with her, as well as the original producer or the director of the show who she had a romantic relationship with later
Very
after its
thorny
original
film, like
production.
and willing
Very
to
thorny.
indulge in the thorniness of it.
Without ever explicitly going, exploiting it for any type of
He,
slop
yeah,
or
if anyone's
a
aware of Atomic Guion, at least his work, some of his best work. I have not seen his erotic thriller phase. I apologize, but whenever he was at the top of his game, he is a bloody good filmmaker, and he knows his way around creating like mystery puzzles, sort of like these human dramas, essentially.
And so Seyfried plays this extremely conflicted character who's having to deal with a troubled production as well as a history that she has with this particular production of the play because her father and this director originally had made it. And for me,
Yeah.
there's this one sequence which is there is a scene in the play where this character has to do a sexual dance and is in the according to the story sexually assaulted, and it's done through this very interesting imagery of shadow behind the screen. And
Mm-hmm.
while it happens, Seyfried, the choreography is based on videos Seyfried's character's father had made of her in these very
Oh,
creepy
haunting.
situations. And
Yeah.
so she's turned away from almost from this scene and she's just processing all of which that is happening, and it cut back and forth between these moments, and it's just the expressions on her face where
She's
she's
tremendous.
sort of
Yeah.
coming to terms with the horror that has happened in her life, and also how does she move on from it, and
Hmm.
especially like with her relationship with her mother, who isn't, who describes the relationship as her father loved her too much, which is also such an immensely profound way to frame something so destructive and so
Mm-hmm.
traumatic and painful to this character. So I think it's Seyfried, and also there's like this scene where Seyfried describes like the moments that were clearly mirroring her abuse, which she's trying to sort of reframe through a sort of reclaiming sort of lens. And there's one
Hmm.
where she talks to this character where a scene is supposed to look like a character is giving the other character a blowjob, and
Hmm.
particularly
Oh,
how
I
she just
remember
sort of
that scene. That is,
her physicality,
yeah.
how she's just sort of experiencing all that pain in one go as she doesn't want to say it explicitly because it's uncomfortable, but she
Hmm.
also has to get the actor to do that. It's just Seyfried is just at the top of her powers, and I
Hmm.
love that performance immensely. So
Good.
that's
I'm
why.
happy that, I mean, out of everything, I'm happy that you mentioned her. It was very something I also might have selected, but instead, I have selected what Aryan has selected, or Aryan has selected what I have selected, whichever way you want to frame it. Uh, this is a performance we again have talked about a little bit in the episode we did on the film. But yeah, Aryan, you go ahead. I'll just chip in a little bit on this, not that much.
Also, a
But
man whose sins Pedro Pascal is now repenting for, which I really do appreciate.
yes,
Uh,
a man who's not liked by Chris as a person, but liked a lot by an act as an actor,
as an
is
actor.
Joaquin Phoenix in Eddington.
How did we get here? And even worse, is it worth it? At the cost of being at war with your neighbors? That's why I'm running for mayor. Mayor of Eddington. Thank you, super duper, very much.
Best performance.
So honestly, I had a hard time picking out the best actor of the year so far because honestly, I don't
I'm
think
I'm
there have been
sorry
a
to
lot of
I'm sorry to
strong
interrupt this.
contenders.
Hmm.
I'm sorry to
Mm-hmm.
interrupt this. I
Mm-hmm.
have a couple of announcements because I was following the
Yeah,
Venice
yeah.
thing.
Okay.
Father, mother, sister, brother wins the Golden Lion. Are you
Oh
kidding
Oh
me?
wow,
wow.
the
Jim
Jim
Jarmusch.
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 Wow.
Yeah, it wins the
Okay.
Golden.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. And also, Silver Lion Best Director goes to Benny Safdie for The Smashing Machine. Oh
Wow.
God.
Damn.
Amartya's
Okay,
dreading the rock.
I'm pretty sure I won't like that movie, but let's
I'm
hope.
not going to like that movie. I'm very sure.
Okay. So nothing for
Very
like
sure.
some of the other big hitters then. Nothing for that
No,
Hamlet
no Park
movie.
Chan-wook. No Park Chan-wook.
Okay,
अभी
I'm
तो
used.
मतलब बिल्कुल नहीं
That
मिलेगा
Jury
मुझे
Prize went
टिकट
to
ये जितना
that
मुश्किल भी.
Palestinian
The
documentary
Hind,
with the voice of
Oh yeah,
Hind
yeah.
the
Rajab,
voice of
yes.
Indra
Hind
Jain.
Rajab,
Hindraj.
yes.
Kauthar Ben
Okay.
Hania, I think is the filmmaker. I've seen her other film. It's really
Also,
interesting.
also for Sorrentino fans, Tony Servillo wins the Volpi
Yes.
Cup for Best Actor for La Grazia.
Come on, it's Venice.
लाग रहा है.
La Grazia.
हाँ हाँ वो तो.
But Benny Safdie winning for this? Jesus
Fine, now he
Christ.
will be making movies alone. Only.
Yeah. Apparently, he has forgotten to thank his brother. I'm
Oh,
Is
like,
is the Benny
yikes.
Safdie movie playing at NYFF?
it
I have
might
no
be.
clue. I
They are
don't
too.
think
I
it
think they are
is.
too artsy for it. Um.
हाँ हाँ वही.
mhm. Anyways, back to it. Aryan,
Anyway,
a movie
Walking
that
Phoenix.
did
So
play
I
play at
honestly
a film
couldn't.
festival, but not didn't garner any attention, I suppose, or at the
Eddington?
box
Yeah.
Oh
office. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Eddington opened at Cannes, right?
Spoilers for my choice for best film in this scenario because Eddington is the best film. I think Eddington. I
Oh,
think
you
I've
haven't
chosen
selected
Eddington as
it.
best film or best
Mm,
director. But anyway,
One
doesn't
of
matter.
them, yes.
One of them,
Yeah.
yes. But yeah,
Yeah.
No,
Aryan,
amazing
yes.
film.
think I think it was really hard to come up with the
The
best
best
lead pick
performance.
because there's
Hmm.
not been that many this year. But another
Hmm.
mention, like before we Dhruv and I talk about
Hmm.
Walking Phoenix, is Dilesh Pothan for Ront because he was
Okay.
really
Ronth,
good in
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Even
Ronth,
though the
Ronth.
movie was like, by the end, it kind of like it's not as good or as smart as it think it is, but
Hmm.
it's still him his performance in that movie, especially against Roshan Matthew, it's like it was really a
Okay.
joy to watch that. And of course, Vijay Sethupathi as well and Viduthalai Part 2. But Walking Phoenix
This-
over here was like phenomenal. Like halfway
Hmm.
through the movie, I was like, okay, he's always this good. It's like it's not
Hmm.
standing out. But once that flip happens,
Ah.
and
Yes,
even now,
yes,
retrospectively, like
yes, yes.
one scene that stands out to me, which is one of the lighter or let's say
Hmm.
scenes one would take for granted, is the scene in the shopping market in the when he's standing there trying to talk sense or talking out of sense, depending on how you look
And
at
then he
in front
shoots,
of
and
Both.
then he
people
shoots
that
the guy,
oh wear
right?
your mask.
Yes.
No, no,
Oh
no.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
much
I
before.
think
This is
that's the
Aryan. I
Oh,
think
this
no no
is
Aryan
no
is
the
no
talking
first
about.
beginning. Yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
As I said, a scene that it won't like gather a lot of attention and won't attract a lot of eyeballs. People won't remember that, but I think he's phenomenal because that scene is very key, especially considering how long it plays out. It's
Hmm.
very key in placing you again in this space where we all were during the COVID days, where nothing made sense, like
Yeah.
absolutely nothing around you, how people behaved, how people reacted to you made sense. And he sold that in
Yeah.
that scene alone. I think
Yeah.
he is phenomenal in Eddington, which is why the film is great by itself, don't get me wrong, but
Hmm.
he elevates it to
No, I
another
mean,
level.
I
And
think
so is
he's the
the fact,
anchor. Ah.
He is the
and
anchor. He is the
Dhruv would
reason why the
agree.
movie works.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think most of you all would agree that on paper he's an extremely unlikable character, and
Yeah, yeah.
yet the
Yeah.
way he plays it, it's pretty
Perfectly
commendable.
played. I would
Commendable.
say
Yeah.
Austin Butler also plays his
Oh
character
yeah, yeah.
perfectly
Yes,
because
yes,
I
yes,
think
yes. Pretty good.
those are two characters which I mentioned this in that the review we did for Eddington. These two
Mm,
performances are to me the examples of what Ari Aster gets right in Eddington. The kids are the
mm,
examples of what he gets wrong in
Okay,
Eddington.
it's wrong.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but this Joaquin Phoenix his half performance is Bo is Afraid. Like the mode he was in Bo is Afraid. Like
No, it's restrained
later.
boys of it. It's
So but
restrained
so
boys of
one of the
it.
things I had noted was that he shifts from being someone who's uh somewhat of a punching bag, but he's very pathetic, I think, but like in a sort of sympathetic way. Like he's not I don't think you can hate him because he's so desperate to try and do something to, get a hold of
Yeah.
reality and to
Shift the dominoes.
get an idea of something, and again his relationship with uh, Emma Stone's character is very touchy and tender in some ways because he's trying to understand her even though his methods are very odd and you sort of don't get it, and he's very good at playing that pathetic sort of man, but like who you kind of care for because he's not like overtly masculine about it and like not overtly intimidating. And then that switch happens. You are saying that scene. My scene, the scene which like sells you the character transformation. I was like, okay, he can switch on in that dime where it's like
Mhm.
you see his eyes once he's looking into the window screen after he's gone
Oh
from his
yeah.
humiliation, and the way it's
Mhm.
framed and the way
Fantastic.
he's performing. I was just like, okay, I get it. I get what you are feeling. I get
The
exactly
lack of
what turn.
dialogue,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
long walk in
I'm
and
like,
out, it's
yeah. I'm like, I get
fantastic.
what you are about, and I
Mm.
can buy your shift. Essentially, is what I'm
Yeah.
getting at. His physical performance later on in the film is great. I think there's a bunch of physical comedy involved in which he's really good. He was there. That was there
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Bo is Afraid also, but I think there it was too monotone and one tone actually. Like it just
Mhm.
became like one thing, and that's maybe one of the few performances of his I've actually not liked in Bo is Afraid. Otherwise, I've really liked him in a lot of stuff. So it's not like a new thing to see Joaquin Phoenix be great, but I thought he provided that emotional anchor for a long part of this film, which I did. Again, I have not clicked with a lot of Ari Aster films, and the fact that I did, I think a lot of it is because of his performance and character both, but performance especially. I thought was he was good. He was really good at capturing a sort of anxiety, which slowly engulfs you. It's not caricatured until it deliberately tips over into it.
Deliberately tips over,
Hmm.
yeah.
But before that, it's very grounded in a way which I was like, I I will follow your lead, however flawed it is throughout the film. And again, he's it's a in a long list of great performances. One of I think amongst them. I mean, in a long list includes something like The Master and You Were Never Really Here, and
You were never
his
really here. Yeah.
repertoire is insane. Come on, which is a very different
Oh
performance.
yeah.
He's been a
Hmm.
great actor for a while, I think. I don't know about him as a
Yeah.
person, so I'm not going to comment.
I think
Anyways,
so. Yeah.
anyways, I'm trying to think about something to say after. Anyways, we have made
Yeah.
an impromptu decision, guys, because this podcast has run for too long, and because Chris's love for his guy is so
His love
overwhelming.
for badass Ravi Kumar is so much
Hmm.
that we have to
It's
shift it to
oozing
two parts.
out in the
It's
Huh.
runtime.
oozing
Yes.
into a sequel. It's
Yeah.
oozing into a sequel.
Sequel.
We
Yes.
will
Yeah.
release the sequel to Badass Ravi Kumar before he does.
Get
Unfortunately,
all your
I do.
supplies in the meantime.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
But yeah, so we've decided essentially to break this episode into two parts because I mean, in a way, it's great. I mean, the more we can be descriptive and say about like I loved how much you every one of us sort of talked about the smaller categories, smaller in quotes, because again, it's
I
this
think
type
it
of
also gives us the freedom to actually talk about some other movies as well, if
yeah,
there
yeah.
Yeah.
are other movies to talk about.
Yeah,
Yes.
and maybe we watch other
Definitely. Yeah.
stuff between this time. So the idea is that this episode, until this point, will be going out this week, of the recording. So sorry, the coming week it'll be going out, and then after that we'll be meeting in what 2 weeks time to discuss the other four categories remaining, which are best director, best screenplay, best film, and WTF Affectionate, which is a very interesting category, at least for me.
Yes.
So yeah, those are the four things, four biggish things. So we don't want to rush the discussion. So we'll just talk about them more in detail. And then because we'll have the time, we can also include tidbits from everything else. Chris can even have more time to discuss his favorites because his favorites are never
दिल के
changing.
ताजमहल में दिल
दिल
के
के ताज
ताजमहल
बगल
में
में.
anyway. Yes. At
Yes.
this point, everybody's in the bit.
Yeah, I think what Amartya and Chris have done today has essentially created a memory in my head, which will go down like my memory, whatever inside out thing is, and then every second day someone will pop in that memory and it'll flash in my head like that triple dent bubble gum
That
thing.
On
And I'm
from
just like,
your
projector.
bed.
Yeah.
yeah, in my mind's
On that project.
projector. And I'm like, how much more pain are you going to give me? It's essentially that. Anyways, that's about it for today's episode. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for being so descriptive about whatever you guys liked and loved. I mean, that's the aim of it. Otherwise, we would just do lists, like list of favorite films. Like, what's the point in talking about specifics if you're not going to talk about them specifically? But yeah, that's the aim. Hopefully, you guys enjoy this part of the podcast. I know these episodes do well always. Partly, I think because Aditya is also with us, so he gets in the audience. But they do well always. So hopefully, you do like it. And yes, thank you and follow everyone wherever. I'll put it all in the description and continued to be continued in part two. Khatam.
Ravi Kumar,